What is going on, everybody? I'm your host, Cyrus the Looney. We are live with Primetime 38. Finally, I apologize for the technical difficulties that have led us to be just a little bit late today. We appreciate each and every one of you sticking by with us to get here, but we're not going to waste too much time. We're going to get straight into it. In the booth, I have got the one and only Mr. Humbledink, and of course, Doc. How are you doing, guys?
I'm doing absolutely class. I cannot wait for this killer card tonight. We have some amazing fights in this card, and obviously we want to get down to it, so I'm going to pass it straight to Doc to tell us about what's going to happen tonight.
Well, we've got the Fadinator Broomstick fight, we've got the Trixie Optics fight, a couple of other cards mentioned, you've got the Pug Caliber, a few changes on a side note, you've got M-Town's finest fight sadly been scrapped, and I believe Griff has had to been replaced by A55 Matrix making his debut, so it's going to be an interesting chance to see him.
Nice. Okay, so like we said, we're not going to take too much time going through the ins and outs of this card. We're going to let these guys speak for themselves in the octagon. So up first, going to have TMF Toasty Toes and Aaron taking it out. Aaron's been getting a little bit hyped in the chat from what I've heard. Again, really into the mood of swinging some hands, and yeah, they're ready to go. So light heavyweight appears to be the weight class. I think it's a great weight class, man. There's a lot of options from it. Obviously, a lot of people tend to go DC or tend to go, John Jones, but looks like these guys are going Izzy and Gus, which I think are some fun picks.
When you mentioned there him going through the chat and just talking a lot of crap to everybody, put your target on your back when you go out there and challenge every single person in the UFC community. So this will be an interesting one as Toasty Toes looks to shut Aaron up. But yeah, this is gonna be a cool fight, Doctor. And as you know, when someone talks a bit of shit, you've got a bit of a point to prove, right?
Yeah, well, when it comes to talking shit, you're either going to have one aspect, you're either going to have them coming out really aggressive or make sure they end up with you face down on the canvas. Gustafson's a fun pick. Izzy's also another fun pick, purely for the basic. He can kickbox, he can just keep you at range, and so can Gus. Both of them have got that reach game, so I imagine if we do see both of them choose the picks, it's going to be a reach game fight.
We've got a lot of people in the chat right now shouting for Toasty as we try and get these guys into the octagon. Currently, at the moment, they're still taking the picks. But looks like we're getting a Jerry versus Gustafsson pick, Cyrus.
Yeah, that's a fun one, man. Jerry's an interesting pick. He's got unorthodox striking, hits really hard for this weight class, and I think he's got like pretty nice footwork as well. He's not somebody I've been able to personally get used to, but a lot of these guys have been able to use him with just really high skill, just kind of utilizing a lot of his unorthodox striking.
Yeah, he's definitely got some unorthodox strike, and them spinning elbows are usually a nightmare to deal with. But Gustafsson's got some quick hands, some nice footwork, and obviously that range there, Doctor. So it'll be good to see how these guys approach this one.
Well, again, both of them, you can use the jab, you can use your straight. Both of them have got decent leg kicks. That leg kick of Gustafsson's very susceptible to getting read as a body kick. Missed the head kick, and a lead hook already starting with both of them trading massively in his pocket.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing with Gus is that he is one of the taller fighters in the weight class. Can often use that to his advantages, but decides to go for a takedown. Able to get a takedown with like 4 minutes 15 on the clock, Humble. That's a lot of time to work. He can just, pepper his opponent, kind of pot the money in the bank, so to speak. Or obviously, if he decides to manage to get across into a top mount like this, then ground and pound is going to be readily available for him as he slams it down.
A very smart decision so far. Sorry there, Doctor. It's a very smart decision. He's already got him hurt right now. And I was just going to say the decision to do that. You got a new guy in the community talking a lot of crap. You want to test his ground game straight away, and he gets him in the arm triangle here. And we always talk about this. It's a risk-free move right here. You can only re-guard with this, and that's it, Doctor.
Well, this is the thing, though. Aaron came out and was talking stuff about his ground game. So far, we've seen Gustafsson nearly lace off of his triangle, and I think he may get it. He's looking really strong here. Yeah. Fantastic tracking, and it looks like he's going to get it.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, the tracking so far. The escape bar does go up quickly, but the submission bar is hitting it. Able to get a round one submission. You don't often see a lot of submissions these days, so just to be able to cinch one up that quickly in the first round after a little bit of striking, the opening 30 seconds or so, didn't really see too much on the feet, so just that mix-up nice and early. Obviously felt like he had an advantage there and took full advantage of it. Great work from TMF Toasty Toes, I believe, is Yeah, TMF Toasty Toast, sorry. Mr. Represent TV.
Yeah, it's a nice job. But obviously, he came out unscathed. What is the job of an MMA fighter or a boxer? It's to hit without getting hit. Well, this guy just took him down and choked without getting choked. He basically just dominated the fight, and he got a submission that isn't necessarily easy to get as well, Doctor. It's something that's quite difficult to get, especially when the stamina your opponent wasn't too low, wasn't blinking at that time.
That sub itself is a very difficult sub. You don't see it very often because, as you said, unless your opponent stands really low and you got at least a little bit of decent tracking, you're going to end up with a very difficult time trying just to get that sub.
And 100% of the people went for Toasty's Toes, so fortunately they're not going to get paid too much. But I think the 0.2% of people that bet on Aaron, that might have been Aaron himself. But if you're going to talk that crap, Cyrus, you've got to back it up. You've got to back it up slightly. You can't just go out there and get dominated like that.
No, it's an unfortunate one for him, especially. Like you said, he was talking a little bit of trash from what I hear in the Discord. I'll go back and have a little read later, but he was amping it up. Fair plays to TMF Toasty Toes. He was a fan-friendly favourite for a reason, quite evidently. TMF boys always come to bang, and he lived up to that. This time, decided to show that he had the ground game too. Quickly made work of Aaron. Again, that submission, beautiful win for him, and gets his team off to a nice start, for the cards, because I got a couple of the other guys I think later on are going to be TMF as well. But up next, it's going to be... Is it Mayweather? No, Honest Jim, sorry. Up against Lethal Weapon. So the Mayweather fight had been dropped. Of course, Lethal Weapon and Lethal Gemini and Honest Jim up next in the lightweight division. Looks like we are getting a matchup between the good old Alexander Volkanovski and Justin Gaethje. Honest Jim, in the past, Doc, he's been really, really good on the ground and often likes to take his opponents there, mixing it up on them. But people forget that this man's got some hands as well.
Well, from what I've heard as well, the last time I talked to Jim properly, is it was kind of moving away from his grappling game, which he's known for. He was known for having that very aggressive grappling, making you there and making you pay for any type of being frustrated. Now, by the things, especially with Gaethje pick, he probably wants to take to the feet and make you pay there instead.
You got 30 seconds left as well to get them bets on, guys. The bets are going in the chat right now. You can get them on for Lethal Gemini versus Honest Jim right now. And Honest Jim has got 94% of the votes. So if Gemini comes in that 6%, they're going to be winning big. Cyrus.
Yes, sir. And there's a reason for that, man. Honest Jim has fought the best of the best in the past. He's taken a bit of a break from the scene, but when he comes back, especially with the kind of the hearing that he's been working on his hands with a lot of the guys, he is an absolute savage on the ground. So the more he improves on those hands, which have always been dangerous, I don't know, man. I'm interested to see what he brings to the table, but obviously don't want to sleep on Lethal Gemini. That man has shown to have some high level skills of his own. Maybe just hasn't fought the same level of competition here. So big opportunity for him, Doc, to get himself noticed.
Oh, he's so aggressive here. Like, lovely pivot lunge there. Gemini is meeting Gaethje with the force, but you can just tell how slick and skilled Jim in there. He's finding his shots landing constantly, throwing 3-4 pieces, and each time they're landing. Now fairly patient, letting Volk put on this pressure, but again, you're still seeing the same thing here of Jim just having easy control over the fight.
But Gemini pressing the action right there, and he's lunging quite a bit on this Jim though, Cyrus. He's lunging to his left-hand side, and he's got to be careful because Gemini picks that up. He's going to end up rocking it, but he rocks him back right now. He's got his opponent pressing back up, but Volkanovski, obviously with a great recovery, Cyrus.
Yeah, he has high recovery stats, as he should. He's a savage in that cage, but like you say, Honest Jim right now is just taking a very calm, composed approach to it, even when he's having a little bit of adversity, as Gemini is coming out extremely aggressive in this bout. He doesn't seem to be getting flustered, at least thus far. Seems to be using that block very well, circling out and landing some good counter shots, like Doc was mentioning. But I have to say, I'm impressed with the way that Gemini is approaching this bout. He is landing a lot of damage, to be fair, just through that pure aggression and non-stop combinations. But that's the problem, Doc, that when he gets caught with the combos you were calling earlier.
Yeah, this is just free reign by Jim here. He's just picking his shots, making sure to make them, and that's kind of the way this entire fight's going.
Yeah, there's a bit of nervousness at the moment from Gemini. I've suffered it from myself in the past, especially with my first couple of ESFL fights. Just going out there and kind of giving your opponent everything in the first round, and rather than kind of reading your opponent and trying to get a read and trying to land them shots, which is what Honest Jim is now doing, and that's why he's landed the bigger counter shots at the moment. But he is getting his block peppered quite a bit, so he's got to be careful of the later rounds. But Gemini, he's been counted a few times now, and if he gets counted again, I believe he's going to struggle going forward, especially in the second round. And there it is.
Yeah, for sure, brother, for sure. And I mean, the fact is that Honest Jim has done a good job of attacking the body in, when he's got his opponent hurt, or attacking the legs, and you can start to see a little bit of a stamina deficit, which is definitely going to add up along with the damage that seems to be coming his way. Although he's been able to put out a lot of damage himself, he's kind of in a worse situation going into these second rounds, due to the deficits that he's now suffering. Obviously, got to keep in mind, though, that Volkanovski, being a champion, does have a fantastic recovery stat, so maybe it won't be as bad as I think it might be.
Yeah, he's got to be careful, though, because I've seen Gaethje and Honest Jim get caught with 2 or 3 of those head kicks coming through, and there's at one point when your block is... when he's got his block to the certain point he wants it to, if he throws one of them head kicks, he'll rock him every single time. And we all know when someone's rocked, that's when they're more susceptible to damage, especially when they're backing up. And if they throw back and they're not smart enough as well to try and get out of that range, that's when big damage can happen. So this fight is still for grabs, Doctor.
The fight is still up for grabs. Both of them are effective. Shoots a takedown there. That's exactly what you want to do. Change the entire game. Make sure that keep your opponent guessing. Going top mount, doesn't get it. Now in the half guard position, Gemini's going to look for that full guard. Jim knows it, gets the 9. This is probably, although Jim's been out of the league fighting game for a bit, it's evidently he still knows how to fight, and he still knows the game itself. Mixing up your opponent between rounds is exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, the ground game, especially on UFC 4, obviously it's all about the systematic approach. Honest Jim, being a seasoned veteran like he is, that specializes in that groundwork, it's just gonna be like riding a bike to him. He isn't gonna forget how to do his thing down here. And as you can see, he's starting to grind out his opponent, Gemini. Short shots to the body, to the head, making sure that grapple advantage is high there, Humble. And as a result, he's gonna get a lot of these transitions nice and easily, putting his opponent in dangerous spots.
Yeah, and the idea to pepper your opponent as well, especially when they're doing some... He's not winning the stand-up battle by no means, Volkanovski, but at the same time, he still is landing. He's landing quite clean on the block, and he's got some dangerous combinations with the kick, so by taking him down, you limit that, you take away all them options, and you also allow to pepper his block, pepper his guard, pepper his head, so in the third round, it's a lot easier for you to stand up with him.
Yeah, completely agree, man. Completely agree. And this is why Honest Jim has been so dangerous in the past. I mean, you got to remember that Honest Jim was the only loss on Trixie's, record when he went on that 20-fight win streak in season 2, or across season 1 and season 2, that is. And this is the exact reason why he's such a gritty fighter. He makes every single bout extremely difficult. He has hands, man. He can hang up, on the feet. Gemini wasn't running away with it. It was very, very closely contested, but on the ground, he's getting a lot of work off. And as I say all of that, Gemini comes in with a fantastic transition to take his back, and now obviously looking to work a little bit on the ground himself.
Yes, a deny here. Currently, Gaethje Volk finally gives up trying to get his back. That's a good thing about Jim. You see a lot of people with good top game, but not necessarily good bottom game. And so when it gets reversed, the entire game can change. But Jim still seems to have that good bottom game. Now both of them just putting on this pressure, wild shots from both sides.
Still some tricky combinations coming out, but a big leg kick right there hits Gemini's leg, and he's going to be limping after that one, Cyrus.
Yeah, that was a big one, and another one takes his legs from under him. Obviously got Volkanovski injured, but not opposed to throwing down on that napkin, so to speak, Doc. Obviously, Gemini came here to fight tonight, and maybe it's the delay that, to the start of the event. You never know, Doc. Maybe he's running late for something. He needs to get out of here, and he's treating it as such, just laying it on thick against Honest Jim.
Well, either way, Gemini's putting on it. I feel like he knows that he's down. He knows that if he doesn't try to get a finish now, he's probably not going to get one. And I would definitely agree with it. He stands low, his head health low, his legs gone. So that means his power stat's also going to be reduced. So he's kind of the case of you just need to look for one big shot now by the seems of it.
Yeah. Everybody tonight, the air feels like there's a violent feeling going on. I don't know about you, Cyrus, but especially when we have such a violent main event in the UFC like Miesha Tate versus Caitlin Vieira, everybody seems up for it tonight. They all want to make such a big impact, and they're going crazy in the chat, calling each other out. So this one's no different, and it's been a fantastic fight so far, Cyrus.
Yes, it has. As Honest Jim sits down on another lovely shot on Gemini. Gemini, once again, though, man, he stands his motherfucking ground. Nice little 1-2 into the head kick. Lands a teep as well. And, I mean, trying to change the momentum late in the bout, Humble.
Beautiful work right there. And you can see him starting to throw them uppercuts now when your opponent thinks you're going to duck. That head kick, them uppercuts start coming through. And Volkanovski has not let off the pace so far. He's been leg rocked, he's been head rocked, he's been put on his back. But he is the one pressing the action right now, Doctor.
He really is. He's just firing shot after shot. Uppercuts, overhands. His legs finally been broken, but I doubt it's going to do much when it comes just to the onslaught of what Volkanovski wants to throw and see him in the clinch. Still knee, drags him across the center octagon. And although Jim's been on the back foot, he knows exactly when to pressure, and that's what he's doing right now.
Yeah, he never stops going to the leg as well. He always just continues to mix it up. He gets his opponent injured top to bottom. Don't know where to block because it's just an absolute onslaught of violence. And look at him just continue this combination on, but he's just literally not stopping, not giving Gemini a moment.
Oh, he's trying to survive right now, and he's going to try and rally Volkanovski coming back forward, but his head health is blinking. Can Honest Jim get him out of there? Because he's trying his best. At the same time, he's got to be cautious because his head is not the best either, and one of those head kicks sneaks through, he's going to be dropped on his ass.
Just like that!
That's exactly what you want, but Volkanovski gets dropped, did that uppercut. Gemini's just going for every last shot he can. He knows that Gaethje's chin is just a little bit fucked, and so that's what he wants. That's what he's trying to compromise even more.
Yeah, he's got him, bro. This is so tough. Only a matter of time. The head health was so low, Humble. That straight sits him down for the final time this evening. Really, really entertaining bout between two quite obviously high-level players, bro.
Yeah, you got Gemini coming forward. He just put all his eggs in one basket, which was, I'm going to come forward, I'm going to try my unorthodox combinations. I don't really give a shit if you land your combinations on me. I'm just going to keep coming, keep headhunting, keep trying to knock you out, and you're going to have to deal with that. And that's what Honest Jim did. He dealt with that forward pressure. He did have some adversity. He got rocked, but no time in that fight did he feel completely uncomfortable. He felt like he could counter his opponent quite effectively, and that's exactly what he did, Doctor.
He really did. He put on this pressure, stepped up when he knew he needed to back off, and then just did this back and forth game and just made sure that if he was getting pressure, he was playing defensive. When he pressured, he was making sure that Gemini felt that pressure, and that's what that entire fight seemed to be.
Yeah, and I have to say, though, just on the points that you guys are making, I mean, Gemini's stock definitely raised in that fight as well. I mean, he brought the action, obviously came with a certain game plan in mind, which was just pure violence, like Humble was saying. Kind of woke up feeling that violence this morning and carried it through into that bout. Put on a fun fight, so even though he wasn't able to get the hand raised, you know, just beaten by the better player on the night, sure he'll go back to the drawing board and come back with that same energy because he's a fun fighter to watch.
100%. Now we're going to move on to the next fight, which I believe is King Amazon versus Griff, if I'm correct, Doc.
No, I believe we have had a late replacement of A55 Matrix.
Okay, let me talk about it. Yeah, 100%. So Matrix is one of my former team players, Team Arse or Team A55 as you like to call. He used to be one of the guys in the KIA along with Spooky, and who we're going to see later on tonight, and a lot of other guys. They kind of split into their American camp. But this guy was the Cage Rage champion. He's the guy that dethroned Rayham when Rayham was on a 7 or 8 fight win streak, and he knocked his ass out and won the Cage Rage belt off him. So Matrix is a great fighter. So this will be an interesting one to see how this one comes about, because I'm not sure his opponent's ready for what he's got, but we'll see right now, because Masvidal versus Dos Anjos, Matrix, going with that forward pressure. He likes his boxing. He likes to put the pressure on his opponents. He likes to break his guys. Similar to the last fight, but a bit more technical.
Yeah, I love seeing the PlayStation guys compete, to be honest with you. It's from everything I hear, and I hope to test it out myself at some point in the near future, seems to favor the striker, and it always puts on entertaining bouts. You know, everybody loves mixed martial arts, the ability to mix it all together, but there is a certain special kind of point in your heart for that silky smooth striking when somebody's able to put it all together well. You know, that's often why you see some people becoming fan-friendly favorites, is due to those fighting styles and really bringing the action to every bout.
100%. There's so many unique talents out there. You get the Xbox guys coming over like all the time as well. People like Geekus, people like Bang Bang. You got people who are constantly coming over and testing all these guys, but you know, it lives up. You got people from our side as well going over to the Xbox side. So people like Holloway, you will know him, who kind of moved over. There's a lot of other guys as well, but when you've won the belt by beating Rehan, you've got a target on your back usually, and that's what usually Matrix had in the other competition in the other league. So we'll see how it transfers today, because I don't know how much he's been playing the game, but King Amazon's got a big task on his hands right now to fight a former champion.
Yeah, I mean,
well, either way, an RDA pick. Sorry to cut you off there, Looney. An RDA pick versus a Masvidal. This is exactly what you want to do. Take him down, work him down slowly. Masvidal's got a good boxing, good recovery stats. RDA, I think he's got a 94 chin, interestingly enough, but he's definitely more suited to the ground game.
yeah, I mean, you've got to love the RDA pick. The ability, he's such a fantastic player to go with. He really, really can do it all. One of the more complete mixed martial artists in the game. His kickboxing is fantastic. His wrestling is fantastic. And that jiu-jitsu, he's able to be, incredibly dangerous with the submissions, no matter where the positions are. So, obviously, you just don't want to be standing too much with Jorge, right, Humble? The power in Jorge's hands can really, really be problematic when you're playing as RDA.
Yeah, 100%, especially against a Matrix pick. Matrix, if I was going to pick one area of his weakness, it would be his ground game, but he does have the likes of Spooky to kind of train with, and a lot of other good guys who can test that ground game. But I just, like I said, don't know how much he's been playing the game, so maybe a great strategy for King Amazon to kind of test that. But you see him one denial right there, and he's putting that forward pressure on now. And King Amazon surprising me so far, doing a fantastic job of mixing it up so far against Masvidal, and Raw Matrix has got to come out and put some more pressure on and figure out something else here.
Oh! Well, so far he's doing a couple of uppercuts, a stun now, double uppercuts follows, and Masvidal, again, he's willing to step back off. I think this has so far been exactly what we've seen in the last two fights so far. Is just the ability to know when to back off, when not to back off, and both of them starting to re-engage now. And RDA is still on this back foot.
Yeah, I mean, Doc, just to jump in there, brother, you've got the thing that's separating in my mind right now is just the body work that Raw Matrix has been able to put in. His boxing combinations are so smooth. He sits him down once again. It looks like King Amazon's in a world of trouble. This might be the end for him. But the back take for the save, Humble. This is a dangerous spot for him, even though the RNC isn't available. Arm bars, it's a very dominant position. You can sink him in very, very nicely.
Wish we had some other sort of transition right there as well, just kind of mix it up, because obviously you know that your opponent can't go for that submission, so you kind of rely on the block on the other side. But Matrix now getting peppered by RDA, and King Amazon is holding his own so far in this fight. Even though he got dropped, he's had his own moments. He must know going into this second round or last 44 seconds that he needs to keep this fight on the ground. He needs to make this fight dirty. You can't let Matrix pressure you back and allow him to get off his combinations, because he's too good at it.
So far, just rained down these ground and pound shots. Lovely, just doing that damage. Although he got dropped, he's basically made the head health basically similar, but another deny there. Good job. Too late though to really get any subs, so it's kind of this difficult position for Amazon coming into the second round.
Yeah, I mean, it is a difficult spot for Amazon to be in, but he's showing us, moments where he quite clearly is capable of getting this victory. Some of that ground game that he's been able to put on when it's hit the mat has been very, very nice, and he's actively, seeking that finish as well, Humble. I feel like if he's able to get his opponent down one more time, the ground and pound may start to stack up, because his stamina isn't short at this stage. He's still very, very much in this bout.
Yeah, and you've got to understand, like, this, for me, Matrix is one of the best competitors that I know on PlayStation who competes in he doesn't like to compete on the big league, like the big ESFL. He likes to compete in the leagues like PrimeTime, likes to compete in these leagues all the time, and rather than just put himself out there, and he's always in the top 5, always in the top 4. So you've got to understand, if you do well against him, you're a good player, and that's what I'm seeing so far.
Lovely pullback.
Pullback now, starting to put on this pressure again. We saw in the first round, drops him with the uppercut, trying to stay alive. RDA is, and 3 minutes left on the clock. That's a long time for Masvidal just to keep his work up, basically.
Lovely
Nice
turn. Yeah, I mean, Humble getting him down once again is a perfect opportunity. He was taking a lot of damage, but now he's reversed, and once again, the ground and pound from somebody like Jorge Masvidal may not want to be down here too often than not, but he has the ability to land some strikes square on that dome. That power translates no matter whether he's standing or in those top positions.
Beautiful rollout right there. We've seen that before with a Chilson and Silver in that fight, but Matrix is one of them players, he likes patterns. If he gets your pattern and he starts to figure out your takedown routine, you've got to switch it up on him. You've got to turn that takedown. You've got to go after he misses, just like he just does right there. Dos Anjos and King Amazon is doing a fantastic job in this fight so far. I am really impressed with his performance so far. He's a good player.
Yeah, digging deep, definitely, Doc. And, you know, once again, I think these are the adjustments that he needs in order to win this bout. Matrix quite clearly has the better boxing. He's doing very, very good at pressuring his opponent. So the more he can get in these exchanges on the ground, the more success he seems to be having.
It definitely does seem to be the case. It's a striker versus grappler match. You've got RDA as the grappler. He's gassing himself out, though, with these takedowns, as well as being dropped. He's probably most likely 2 rounds down, especially he got knocked down at the very beginning of this round. Macedon now starting to realise the takedown defense is going to be crucial to winning the rest of this fight. Does need to get head kicked, and a head kick follows in retaliation.
Excellent there. Sorry, brother. That was excellent takedown defense. And I think that's a big moment for him with a minute in the second round to go to stop a takedown. You know, that could shift the momentum, because I think up until this point, the takedowns have been available for RDA, and that's going to give him a lot of confusion and, you know, be a little bit concerning considering he's not getting the best of the, you know, exchanges on the feet. Up until there.
He catches him with a spinning elbow. He's going to press forward right now. He's got a chance to hurt him.
Another one.
Can he finish him? He's got Matrix hurt.
Low stam, the head health does seem to recover.
Oh my God.
He's a dangerous position. He's so close to getting finished.
Wow, King Amazon has shown up in this second round, and this going into the third round is all up for grabs right now. What a fight we have, Cyrus.
Right on the buzzer. Right on the buzzer. Lovely work from King Amazon. He is definitely riding the momentum at the moment, Doctor. I think that's a fantastic, you know, turning of the tides almost for him, because up until then, I mean, on the feet, Matrix was looking so clean. He looked like he was very difficult to hit. And obviously it just seemed like a grappling, the striking sort of exchange. But now he's doing the damage on the feet. Confidence has got to be oozing out of this man.
Well, it does seem to be the case that if you have a strong end to a round, you're going to end up having a strong start of the next round, and that's, I think, what Amazon's going to be hoping for here, to manage to clip him with that elbow, which he's thrown a couple of times now, double on the uppercut, slips out, does slip into hook, pinned against the cage. Matrix now just working him down slowly and steadily.
Yeah, he always reminds me of like a Bang Bang. Like, he'd come forward and he picks his combinations so well, and he also does something that Doctor always talks about, utilizing that jab is so key. Just disrupted his opponent's combinations and then landed his own when his opponent stops. It's just a good way of kind of utilizing a weapon and sorting out your opponent with kind of risk-free almost, Doctor.
Yeah, the jab is a crucial tool. If you can manage that distance, if you get a read and reach and just the ability to poke at your opponent, it's going to do you so much more better instead of you overextending into the pocket.
Exactly right. Just completely allows you to dictate the range. An educated jab can go a long way. But I am liking the unorthodox kind of mix-ins that we're seeing from RDA. Those spinning elbows. He's kind of fought fairly technically, you know, behind straight shots. So to mix it up with these spinning attempts, I think might throw his opponent off and seems to be, you know, adding up some nice damage for him so far, Humble.
Nice work right there. He's going for the takedown again. A bit of desperation that's kicked in right there. But Masvidal's got him on the back foot again, and it's just a slow beat down right now, but he caught him with a spinning back fist again, Doctor.
Well, the main issue with the takedowns, I think, in terms of Masvidal, he may be getting the defense. You're going to get very frustrated, and that's, I think, what is RDA's best chance here, is making this Masvidal so frustrated that Amazon just is allowed an opening which it wouldn't be otherwise dictated to him.
Oh, big straight down the middle right there. Comes back with a combination, hits it with an uppercut. Both head healths are so bad right now. It's going to take one shot from these guys to kind of change this fight, and he's decided to go for another takedown ankle pick right there. Catch him with a front kick to the face.
Mate, yes. He's so close to killing him. He is almost out, but he survives again. My God. I mean, RDA is a beast, but look at Rome Matrix, the pick of Jorge Masvidal as well. I mean, so durable over the course of this bout. The amount of times these guys have been injured is amazing.
I feel like a 1-2 head kick could be Masvidal's looking for. The block is so low on RDA, you can just double commit it with a jab straight, but who knows what could happen. Both of them staying fairly composed. 50 seconds left. A front kick narrowly doesn't get through. A spinning back fist, and both of them are just looking for this one key shot to make sure they've won the round.
My God.
Bit Bit of jumping right there. But yeah, I'm kind of screaming in my head at Matrix at the moment because he's training me, but he's got him right now. He's gone for the uppercut. And I'm just, even the left hook straight head kick was there for him at a few points. He caught him with the right hook again. Can he finish him? He's got him hurt.
Oh my God!
Doesn't get it.
Oh my days! If he gets knocked out here, oh what the hell? This nearly happened as well. Great fight.
Won that.
Great fight.
Round of applause. Round of applause. Respect shown to both of these guys. I mean, savagery on full display. Beautiful destruction. We're about to see who got the victory. It was Raw Matrix with the better of the boxing. Able to get the hand raise this evening. Clearly got more stuns and knockdowns. A lot of top control. A lot of takedowns from his opponent, from King Amazon, who I feel really started to put it all together. Clearly felt more comfortable as the fight went on. But yeah, just a really entertaining bout, start to finish, I think, Humble.
Yeah, great fighting. Like I said earlier on, like you got to give credit to Amazon coming in there fighting someone like Matrix. Matrix is no slouch. He's beat everybody, and Amazon came in, showed his skills. Nearly got to finish a few different times, and that could have went either way. So when it can go either way, you got to hold your head up high no matter what.
Yeah, completely agree. I believe up next, Doc, we have Mayweather Skitch. Is that still the case, brother?
Yes, I believe so.
Yes.
Skitch are just about to lobby up and cut down to their needed weight, I believe.
Nice.
Fantastic.
I believe this is in featherweight. I think you know these guys, Humble. Would you like to lead us in, brother?
Yeah, 100%. Skitch is one of the best French strikers in the world. Apart from Daniel Freeman, Skitch is probably, I'd say, he may be the second or third best striker in the world that is French. He likes to use that sort of Easy Yee, Ed Parker, Young Po sort of style. He's a great striker. The last fight we seen him in was against one of my good friends, Spooky, and he was getting dominated for the first 2 rounds on the ground, and he came back in the 3rd round with an astonishing finish. I believe you were calling that one, Cyrus, and it was just an amazing performance. And Mayweather's a great grappler, great striker, great all-round fighter, but I believe the key to Mayweather winning this fight is mixing it up against Skitch. This is a really high-level fight early on in the card. If this was on any other league, this would be on the main card. So this is what you're getting right now from the prelims from PrimeTime. A PrimeTime guarantee fight. This is going to be banging.
Cannot wait, brother. They are lobbied up by the looks of things in the necessary weight class, which is featherweight. 145 is the weight class of this evening. Looks like we may be having a Max Holloway bout up against Jose Aldo. I love to see Jose Aldo get into the cage. Fantastic pick. Obviously has a lot of damage available to him. Heavy power. Fantastic kicks. But of course, it's a difficult one in 145 to take on somebody like Max Holloway. I think you'll both agree he is a savage in that cage. Endless cardio and just the ability to dictate the pace of any sort of bout.
Yeah, it's very difficult, Doctor. As you know, the pressure that he can put on you is endless. But Aldo did get a buff recently, and I've seen a lot more players use him on ranked, and I have a lot less success than I used to have with Holloway going up against an Aldo now, Doctor. I don't know about yourself.
I think it's purely just because of as you grow, as the community grows and gets used to it, you know how to slowly decrease and beat an Aldo out, and not an Aldo, a Holloway. So Holloway's cardio, his punch power, you just get used to it and you can work around it. Aldo's not bad at featherweight. He's a lot better at bantamweight, in my opinion, having a 94 chin, better health stats and all the rest of it. He still isn't a bad kid. With Aldo, you can also work from top to bottom or head to top. It just depends on how you want to play with it, Looney.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. We do see a touch of gloves to start us out in round 1. I imagine that the action is going to be from the beginning, Humble, just like you called. These guys are, known for bringing the action quite clearly, and these picks are going to further accentuate the ability to do that. What Holloway Aldo is just a beautiful fight to behold there, Humble.
Yeah, 100%. I see Mayweather now used to be in Team BMF, now in the Team War with tons of different people in there that are high level, like Samurai Robin. You got there's so many different people in that camp that you can train with, like Sick War. There's a lot of others as well. Oh. And he's going to be getting better doing that. But Skitch coming out right now with some beautiful combinations, as we've seen. Like I said, this guy's tricky. This guy's unorthodox, and he can pull out a nice kill out of nowhere.
Yeah, being defensively sound, obviously as well. But up until that moment, big double upper from Max Holloway. Wow. I'll take a moment of this in crazy action to give a big shout out to ESFL Gaming coming through with a huge raid there. Appreciate you as always. Hope the event went well. Sure it did. No Bane was on there with y'all guys, and always crazy fights, but these guys once again bringing the action, Humble, and just non-stop back and forth. We're only 2 minutes in and they're still ripping combinations in that phone booth.
Yeah, like I said, it was going to be one. It is absolutely a war so far. These guys have come out for blood, Doctor. They're not taking their foot off the glass so far, and I don't see it happening in the second round or the end of this one either.
That leg finally goes, and that's massive. That's what you want. Holloway doesn't have a very good power, and just making that leg go even more, you're going to lose that power. Another note is that the head kicks by Skill is just so impressive. I've never seen someone do it, but then you mentioned the head kicks, you also got that impressive box in there.
Yeah, he is just mixing it all together beautifully at the moment. The defense was held very, very tight. Couple of little slips here and there, but mixing it up beautifully, Humble. And I mean, big miss right there, but up until that moment has been incredibly accurate and just really, really dispersing everything across Max Holloway. Not, he doesn't know where to block, does he?
We've got to be mindful of the head health so far of Skitch, though. Skitch is coming forward and landed some beautiful combinations, but so far he's took a lot of damage to that head, and as you can see, Max Holloway can put it together and end the fight at any moment, so he's got to be careful, even if he is mixing it up, not to become predictable at any point in this fight, Doctor.
Yeah, you got to make sure you're never predictable, especially as it seems like Skilch is such a skilled fighter. You're gonna, if you become predictable, you're gonna get countered, and you're not gonna have a fun time.
Nice work right there. Gets his leg checked. Oh, Holloway and Mayweather pressing Aldo back against that fence, making him have less of a room to kind of move that head at the moment. Big whiff right there from Skitch, Cyrus.
Yeah. Nice uppercut. I mean, right now, Max Holloway's got a crazy pressure on. The head kick sits him down. Very, very close. He's going to survive it. Skitch in a terrible position at the moment, though. And it's a difficult one because his back is up against the cage there, Doc. Not a lot of space to move. Did a very, very good job of surviving, though.
It's sometimes risky to do, but sometimes one of the best chances when you're getting pressured is to clinch your opponent up and just walk in a circle, because in most occasions you can stick their back against the cage and you have that space to move back, especially when you're getting pressured. Other chances, you also got Holloway's leg blinking at the end, so that's probably going to play dividends coming into this next round, where Aldo's probably going to want to focus on it a bit more, just so that Holloway either switches stance or just knows that he can't pressure as much.
It'd be interesting going into the second round to see how Skitch kind of approaches this one. I can see. Oh, he gets caught with a big spin kick right there. Aldo coming with a flying knee. But I was going to say, he had 2 knockdowns in that round, which would usually secure somebody the round, but it was a very, very close one. So that head health is not looking good for Skitch, and I'm just interested to see how he adapts in this round to stop that forward pressure.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know if you'd agree, but keeping it a little bit more simple is going to mean that Skitch is going to land the more consecutive shots, and when it's this close in damage, that may be the deciding factor. Holloway's come up with some big movements there, Doc, but a lot of the time that can be telegraphed and quite easily blocked just like that.
Yeah, if you're going to throw those movements, make sure they're either behind a lot of other shots or they're a bit more out there and a bit more fluid. And Aldo's just having a fun time. He's making sure to move around the opponent, never getting stuck against that cage now, because that's what happened at the end of the last round, and he knew the punishment for it. Making sure to always just in and out non-stop.
Oh, big shots right there from Holloway. He keeps hitting that head health. Oh, he gets caught with an uppercut, and Skitch is coming forward. He's going to try and finish his opponent. Oh, he gets caught with a flying knee.
Beautiful move from Mayweather. I mean, he's digging deep. He's being very, very creative as this bout goes on, Humble. Catching Aldo, who is being the more technical of the two, but just catching him on those high vulnerability movements with some of this mad creativity that he seems to be pulling out.
That's kind of what you got to do again. So, he gets caught with a big left hook to the body right there. Overhand to the head. Skitch is going to get a chance to finish him right now. Big ground and pound coming. Can Skitch get the win?
That's it, brother. That's got to be it. No, he survived. He survived.
And he gets
up you guys,
as
this fight had the prime time guarantee from the start. What a fight we have on our hands right now.
Both of them are just going back and forth. Aldo's head blinking, Holloway's leg dead. He's now stunned, working that body, narrowly avoids a straight.
I don't know what's going on. What is happening?
Amazing. These two are going at it. The head movement, the shots, the combinations that these guys are throwing in the pocket. Just sneaky stuff all around from both competitors.
Been less than 2 rounds and both of them are just going back and forth. Their head health blinking, fairly hurt to the body. Body damage was fairly low in the beginning of the second. Ends up now dead.
Oh, nice leg kick.
Seconds. Finally switched his stance though.
Yeah, I mean, but that leg is also going to get chewed up. I mean, Skitch seems to be timing it very well, so the vulnerability always seems to be at the max. Obviously, that takes away some of the kicks for Holloway as well. You've got to remember, guys, he's not going to be able to throw that back in return. Going to have to go full boxing, which, you know, may be the best approach at this stage.
Whoa!
Catches him with a massive.
I don't understand, bro. If he survives again, he does. This is craziness. I mean, when they get at their most hurt, Doc, I mean, the ability to survive is so high with these guys. It's absolutely crazy.
They're just... I think it's the statement of they are digging deep, and they are digging evidently not with a normal shovel, because they are just going down and down and down and hoping one of them finally succeeds.
And this is the thing about this. This is the thing about these two guys. I'm used to fighting these guys in these sort of wars. I know what these guys are capable of, and I've been in the fights with them. Like, to do this is the fights we regularly have. So bringing it to primetime, bringing it to the mainstream audience is exactly what we want to do. And show these two showcasing the skills, just as the ESFL Raiders. Perfect time and great fight so far, Cyrus.
Yeah, living up to all the hype for sure. This was one of the fights that you were talking about, you know, prior to the event going live, and I can see why. My God, Holloway, the combinations. He may get him here. I mean, the head health is so low. So low.
Oh, no.
Oh, my days. Skitch coming forward. He's hitting him with the body again, and he's got him backed up right now. Both guys on blinking on head health, and he knocks him out with a spinning kick. What the fuck?
KO of the night by a country mile. We still have a lot of fights to go, but Violet Knight probably knockout of the night as well. This has been savagery from start to finish. I can't believe it, brother.
Bon combat is the word right there that I just seen. Bon combat. I love that. That was Bon combat. Appetit. Amazing fight right there, Doctor.
That was insane. Both of them were just back and forth, back and forth. Aldo started fairly good. Holloway comes back, starts piecing them up. Both of them going back and forth, until finally someone has to get head kicked into the canvas to fall asleep.
And that's sorry, you're going, Cyrus.
No, I was just going to say, man, I mean, both guys, once again, I've said it quite a few times already tonight, but it stands the test of time. These guys really should hold their head high after these bouts. I think there's not really been a loser so far tonight. Obviously, we've seen some big finishes, but each and every single one of these guys are bringing the action, showing a nice, diverse set of skills, and I think really showing a good account of what they're capable of, you know, bringing to the table, which is quite evidently action-packed bouts there, Humble.
Yeah, and these guys going forward are going to be interesting in the PlayStation division, because either guy could have won that. And there's a similar feeling with King Amazon and Matrix as well, as these move up. These aren't ranked guys yet. I know Skitch is, but most of these guys aren't ranked yet, and these are what's coming into the top 10, coming into the top 15 to perform against each other. And you're going to see amazing action from the PlayStation guys as primetime grows amongst this community, which it has done rapidly recently. So if you do want to sign up for primetime, go onto that Discord link. If you think you've got what it takes to fight these guys, you fight everybody, come into primetime and let's see what you've got. Let's see if you can live up to your name and fight these guys. But we're going to be moving on to the next fight, which is going to be Naz versus Spooky G. And what a fight we have on our hands right now, Doctor.
Well, Naz, I believe, started in the PS Grand Prix, made a run for the title shot, did decently well, ended up in the 2-1 spot. Spooky G is a new addition, I believe, going about 1-0, maybe 2-0, looking now to start and probably making his name in the PS side. So, as we saw in the last fight, Mayweather and Skilch definitely showcased that they are hell of a good fighters. Let's see what Naz and Spooky G have to offer.
Yeah, 100%. And Naz is obviously a great competitor. He usually has a big following in the chat. Spooky G, I describe as one of the best grapplers on this game. When he can keep his mind focused on the fight. He held Skitch down the last fight he had for 2 rounds, dominated that fight with Khabib. Skitch got up in the 3rd round and managed to taunt him a bit, throw him off and then knock him out. Spooky G can hold you in side control for a full round without doing anything, keeping you there and kind of annoying you. So we'll see how he kind of approaches this one, and if he can keep his focus at the same level for 3 rounds, because that's his biggest weakness himself at the moment. But he's fighting Naz, who's a great striker, great on the ground, great competitor all around, and this is going to be an absolute banger. Again, another prelim fight, which I believe is a high level fight, Cyrus.
Well, it's like you say, as the roster builds on that side, it's only going to continue for these guys to make their name known. Or when you come into primetime, you're gonna, you fight another newbie, and then you're able to fully showcase your skills, quickly rise up the ranking. Should you be able to put on some dominant performances? And these guys are starting out nice and quickly, as expected. I mean, nice little trip mixed in. The combinations inside from Whitaker have been on point so far. Vittori's going to have to be nice and slick, just like that. Lovely work.
That's exactly how you want to start off a grappling exchange. Getting the stun, going to the spear takedown, and now you're in a sprawl position. You want to look for this backside. Doesn't get it, sadly. No, going to be wary of that sprawl get up. It's such an easy one to do. Does get the reversal, though, and now it's in a very good position for Naz to start doing this top game. Vittori's got a couple good submissions off his back, but he probably most likely wants to be on top.
Not many people I know can turn Spooky like that, so that's a very big cap in Easy Passions in Arsenal. But we see it right now. Spooky getting back on top, getting back to work with a Vittori pick, and he's going to try. He's got 3 minutes and 20 seconds to work. Can he pass into a different position and do some more damage?
Marvin Vittori's obviously, this is exactly where he wants to be, especially up against Whitaker. He has some lovely ground and pound, especially if he's able to advance the positions, which he seems to be doing with relative ease at this stage, Doc. I mean, you're definitely the grappling specialist out of the three of us. I mean, what would you like to see out of Whitaker here, outside of building up the GA that he seems to be attempting?
I think the main issue here is you're in like a place like side control is very difficult because you've got a couple places you can breed knife. The main thing when grappling though is pay attention to that GA bar. That transition worked the first time because you had the sprawl deny. Now he's trying it again and it's fairly easy to do. It's undeniable in a couple of times. Doesn't get the backside. Probably the best bet here for Vittori is just work this body over and over again. Go slowly, go patient. Doesn't get the gilly as well. Sprawl's a very tough place to be in, Humble.
Yeah, 100%, especially with them undeniables that you can kind of do to build the grappling advantage. But Spooky, at the moment, is getting the better of the ground exchanges overall. He's one of the type of people who likes to read his opponent's patterns. He sees which way you move. If you like to go left, you like to go right. I know this because he used to be a former teammate of mine. He used to tell me which way I used to like to move the most. He said, you move 7 times this way and 4 this way. And I'd be like, oh, okay. So he kind of counts that. And that's what he's going to be looking for going into the next round of picking up patterns of his opponent, especially on the ground. And Easy Passion needs to keep it on the feet, in my opinion, Cyrus.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you. I mean, right now we've seen that Spooky clearly has some skills on the ground. Clearly, obviously, is part of his game plan this evening is to go after that actively. Another nice double leg entry, but Whitaker standing up to the test of time on that one. The takedown defense holds true. Actually goes for a takedown of his own. And I mean, you've got to remember out here as well, Doc, right, that Whitaker is fantastic in top control. When he wants to engage in the wrestling realm, as long as he's on top, I think that he has a very, very viable chance of causing big amounts of damage to you.
Both of them are viable on top. Gets flipped in the top man at the very end, and maybe that's going to put a feather into the cap of Vittori going to Naz. Maybe I shouldn't take him down if I'm going to risk that type of reversal. So far, though, I can mainly see this fight playing out in the fact that it's going to be a cardio game. Who can ever manage their cardio is the best, can have the most advantage on the ground. Sure. You'd be surprised how much the cardio game actually plays effect when it comes to normal transitions.
Yeah. Definitely.
Looking at that first round as well there, sorry Cyrus to cut you off, with looking at that first round, you got the rock and the amount of stamina and the amount of ground control for Spooky going forward. But as you said about the stamina, it's going to be difficult. When you take someone down once or twice, it's okay, but keeping them on the floor, keep taking them down is the hardest part, as we're finding out right now, Cyrus.
Yeah, it can be taxing on your stamina to continually and actively shoot takedowns throughout the course of a fight. You've got to make as much use of the ground control as you can, Doc, right? You can't allow your opponent to get up continuously easily, or at least if they do, it's got to be a setup for your strikes, and you've almost got to use it in that reverse.
Well, just noticing what Spooky did there, he got the read on that sprawl. He faked one side, then went to the other, allowing easy transitions, and then we're now back in sprawl. Expecting again, doesn't go for it this time, and just has to get a read. That's when you know you're dealing with a good grappler who can make those reads, adjust it, and then make sure you do it, adapt, and probably expect him to go into the back sit and doesn't get it, and now you're in this back clinch again. The hardest part is going to be keeping your opponent on the ground.
You're doing a great job right now of just rolling with his opponent, kind of getting the reads he wants to. And this is where Spooky is at his best. when he denies you, and when he gets some sort of read on your patterns, like I was speaking about in that first round, he read that Easy Passion was blocking the left, and sometimes he gives you that. He'll give you a going for left twice, and you get 2 blocks, and sometimes you think, okay, great, I can know which way he's going to go. When you hurt, when you think you're good, and then he starts to switch it up on you, that's the problem. And at the moment, Easy Passion's back on the floor with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left, and he needs to win this round, in my opinion, to maybe get a nod from the judges.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's actively chasing the right as well, Doc. I don't think that he's going to be looking for the judges' scorecards as he goes for a lovely submission. This could be pretty dangerous because the stamina is basically blasted from Easy Passion.
Oh.
Depending on how good the tracking is, you're looking at fairly close. The tracking also staying fairly stable. This may be the end for Easy Passion here. It's going fairly deep. It's going to be a close one.
Yeah, he's got Easy Passion starting to move forward though on the thing. He's trying to get away from that little blue bar. He's got to keep his composure. He's got to keep it right now as Spooky goes for the armbar. He's got it fully extended. He's going to get the option to finish him right now, and Spooky's going to get it. He gets the win. Beautiful work. And a rage quit. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. We love a rage quit.
Oh, wow.
So these things happen, but a lovely submission. I have to say the wrestling, kind of that Marvin Vittori was able to put forward, Spooky G was able to put forward, was fantastic. You said that he had a dangerous side control. That was really, really accentuated by this performance here this evening when he got his opponent into those positions. Quite clearly had, dangerous offense that he was able to mount up Humble. And ultimately, I think that the combination of that led to some, rushed movements from his opponent, which then set up the submission after those easy denials.
Yeah, I believe one thing I like about this fight is Spooky's kind of learned from the last fight he had with Skitch. He was dominating the ground transitions. He was doing a fantastic job of striking when he was back on his feet, but he got taunted. He got put off his game. He told me himself he got put off his game, and then ends up getting knocked out, which in a fight he was comfortably winning in his opinion. And Skitch goes 2-0 and obviously 3-0 tonight, and Spooky takes a loss, so he's 0-1, and now he's going to go 1-1 against Naz, and a very two dangerous opponents back to back. Two, in my opinion, two guys who I believe Naz and Spooky will be in the top 10 going forward in the future of Primetime, and Spooky gets a massive feather under his cap there and beating Naz, and he'll probably have a little tickle and a bit of laugh as well because he got the rage quit, which is always nice. If you're fighting somebody and the kind of, bit of emotion shows through.
Yeah, he did also get fake gloves touch, to be fair, so it's kind of an interesting
I missed that. I think we missed that then, but yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, with all of this being said, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the very next bout of the evening. Going to be having KMA. I did not know that. Brady up against Motown's Finest, which is also, an official teammate of KM, I do believe. So it's one from the academy up against one of their more seasoned veteran opponents.
Is it bad that I forgot he's in KMA? And,
no, it's not. Brother. These things happen.
You a KM member by any chance?
Yeah, I'm a KM member and I thought I was in KMA. But hey, we continue. Both of them are a very good fight. Brady's got a 1-2 body kick he loves. Motown's got this weird shoulder roll, and so it actually works really quite fun. So it's going to be a very fun fight, especially in a weight like bantamweight.
I do think there as well, just to interrupt really briefly, sorry, Humble, that, if KMA Brady wins this fight, you guys, surely this is his opportunity to get KM, right? Take that A out of his name.
Killer memory.
Killer memory.
Is my answer to that. I genuinely don't know, but you would assume so.
I mean, it would be a big feather in his cap, like, to get a win over somebody that's already gone through that gauntlet, somebody that's currently a full-fledged member of that, of that gym. Obviously, I'm not a member, so I can't speak for them, but you've got to imagine that there may be some additional stakes on the line, other than just, fighting under the bright lights of Primetime MMA there, Humble.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, when you're fighting members of teams or you want to try and gain teams, I always try a bit harder. I don't know what it is about it. You just know they're talking in a group chat somewhere about you, so you want to try and you're not just beating one person, you're beating 20 or 5 or 10, or depending on how many there is. So it's a bit better usually. But this one going to be a good fight. We always see Rob Font versus Peter Yan picks. I'd like to see the forward pressure from Peter Yan and come through just because of the perks that he has. It will always help him going forward into the fight.
Yeah.
Well, so far, though, Motown's putting on this pressure, looking for the shots, playing the range game, and that's what you want Peter Yan to be on the back foot, making sure and force him to come into the pocket instead.
I feel like Motown quite clearly is feeling more comfortable in this bout, and maybe that, that's quite evident so far in this bout. He's using really, really good use of his range over here, Humble, and seems to be dictating the pace of the fight so far.
Yeah, nice body kick right there. I like the control. I always talk about this when we're in primetime fights as well. And just in general, if you want to ring generalship of when controlling your opponent, I like to keep my opponents on the outside of that black line that we can see right there. Just limits their options of kind of pull back in, and I know where they're going to go.
Oh my
nice
God.
work right now, and this is exactly what I was speaking about. He can't go anywhere but against the fence as he gets dropped right now.
I mean, Doc, you did not say that Motown's Finest had hands like this, brother. I knew that he had some skills, but my God, is he showing off this evening?
He's arguably one of the better boxers in KMA. His hands are clean. He knows when to do it. If he can get that range down, you're going to have some real difficulty just because how fluid he is. He will just make sure you can't actually hit him and then come back with a 4-piece.
My
Beautiful
God.
work right there.
It really is. I mean, not the right time to say it, but Motown, I want to fight you, brother. This is looking silky smooth. Like, I love fighters like this. It always brings the action. Nice mix-up from Brady. I think that if he's able to get it to the ground there, Humble, he may be able to start to change the tide of the fight. But right now on the feet, it's Motown's Finest all day, every day by the looks of things. His hands looking so clean.
Brother.
Oh!
Really gets dropped, and Robert Font is now on top, and Motown can get a finish on his opponent. Decides to stand back up. He's going to try and get that token finish with the hands as he presses back. And I really like his style so far, as you were saying a second ago. He's put the pressure on his opponent, and he's gone, I'm going to hit you first. You have to deal my shots rather than me deal with yours. Beautiful work so far from Motown.
The case of Jan's block is also dead. Every shot that he hasn't clipped him has gone straight onto his block, basically. There's not been a single wasted shot on Motown. And thus, every time Brady tries a shot, though, it seems like his shots are wasted because Motown's just moving his head non-stop.
Definitely, my man, definitely. I have to say, this is a standout performance right now from Motown's Finest. Really, really showing that he's got some, crazy hands, but this is obviously where he was a little bit concerned. He didn't want to stay on the ground too often, Humble, and not a lot of time on the clock, but KMA Brady maybe getting a little bit of a read that he's going to need later on in the fight to sink in one of those submissions. He clearly feels he has an advantage on the ground, just struggling to get there so far.
Yeah, for me, he's got to use the trip. At the moment, he's kind of stood in the southpaw position. He's been happy standing southpaw, and I believe he's going to lose a lot of his striking power. He's going to lose some of the combinations that he needs. He's also going to lose that trip because you need to be orthodox or southpaw with your opponent to try and get that. And for me, it's the easiest takedown to get. It's the hardest to deny. So for me, he needs to go for that. But the stamina differential at the moment, Doctor, when you've got a stamina differential like that, it's really hard to keep your opponent on the ground and even harder to submit them.
I mean, it's not even the stamina differential. When you have the head differential of the head health between Smart Brady and Motown, you're going to have a difficulty just even getting anywhere near good trading. So this is kind of the fight. Brady's fighting an uphill battle. We've seen bigger uphill battles be won, but will Smart Brady be able to do it? I'm not quite sure.
We've seen him rally in the past, but like you say, odds are definitely stacked against him, especially if M-Town's Finest continues to be as technical as he is, to be as composed as he is, Humble. I just feel like he really hasn't made, if any, a very small amount of mistakes so far in this bout. Just been on point, just like this, brother.
It's not even the fact of the mistakes. It's just the idea of getting in your opponent's face at the start of the fight and just saying, deal with all these shots, deal with all these combinations. And Brady's not been able to deal with the combinations rather than Motown making mistakes. He's just not had an answer for anything that Motown's Finest has kind of come for. And he needed to, because when somebody in bantamweight's coming forward and throwing combinations like that, you need to be able to counter one or two of them just to get some respect. And so far, he has not dictated any respect from his opponent.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I think you'll agree as well there, Doc. I mean, just the overall ability for M-Town's Finest to use the range so perfectly, use that head movement, the beautiful rolling like you had mentioned leading into the bout. I mean, it's so clean. It's setting up all of those offense and combinations for days.
Well, it's the fact he's also using that jab. I talk about this jab so much because it's the most important key when it comes to the striking. Whenever you fight a striker, if they've got a good jab, you're going to have massive issues coming on the inside, and that's what M-Town's doing. Every time Brady wants to come on the inside, he's just being met with that jab, and it just means he can't get any of his shots off.
Yeah.
Excellent work right now. Misses. Oh, nearly gets pull countered right there. But yeah, as you guys have been saying all the way through, just the so far, Motown just doing a fantastic job. I just love his ring generalship, like the way he controls the position where he wants to fight at, the way he's pushing his opponent back with the jab, as you said, Doctor, and the way he's keeping him there. And when he does hurt him, he gets him against the fence, and guess what? You get some more damage, you get some more shots against that fence, which is why it's so important to keep your opponent there.
Body kick starting, firing out doubles up on the body kicks. Wish is the second one. Body kick in retaliation. Both of them going for that body, but again,
oh my god! I mean, this is so tough to watch. Sorry to jump in, Doc, but I mean, like, even though the stamina is almost about equal right at this stage of the bout, the head health is so good from M-Town's finest. Brady is just in such a tough position right now. I feel for this man as he tries to get, as he tries to mount some sort of comeback out here.
It seems like he's got respect a bit too late, doesn't he? He's started to get some respect from Motown, but Motown just catching him at will now. And he's also slowed down. Motown did a great job of coming out aggressive, just crashing into his opponent in the first round and kind of making him deal with his shots. And this round, he's been very calculated. He's been cold and calculated, just picking his opponent off, waiting for that one big shot to catch him. And he's rocked him and hurt him and dropped him a few times in this round just to secure it. But chipped away that head health, Doctor, and I don't know how Brady's going to come back into this one.
Brady's surviving. That's what he's doing. He's just surviving. Every shot Motown throws, he's managing to either take on the block or just take just enough where it doesn't knock him out. The recovery of M-Town may put the pace on quite quickly, as we see here, getting that jab straight established, and now Brady's pinned against the corner.
Oh.
Nice work.
Beautiful work.
Yeah, just non-stop. It's relentless, right, Humble? He hasn't let up at any point in this bout, and this has got to be the finish while he's in top mount, surely.
Oh yeah, 100%. It looks like he actually blocked that, but yeah, he deserved it. He went through the correct motions. A very calculated performance right there from Motown. I really like what I'm seeing with that performance. That is what you call maturity in a fighter, maturity in a competitor, and he just felt composed, he felt calculated all the way through, and there was no point he felt in trouble, and at every point he felt dangerous. So great fight from Motown. You've got to be impressed with that one.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Another great fight to add into the books, and this leads me on to one that I know that you two are going to be very, very hyped about, and I'm sure that everybody in the chat is going to be going a bit crazy for it as well. Short notice, we have Tadpole stepping in up against Evo. Seen Evo come out in the past and have some nice performances. Quite clearly, that man has all-rounded skills, but up against somebody like Tadpole, it may be a bit of a difficult fight out here. I mean, this guy, known as the human highlight reel for a reason, always bringing the action with some intense striking to go.
Yeah, 100%. Tadpole is an absolute beast, and it's going to be a good fight no matter what when you've got a Tadpole fight. And Evo obviously coming in this one to try and get a win against him, but it looks like we're going to have Brian Ortega, and I like the pick from Tadpole so far. Can be risky because the amount of dangerous and vulnerable strikes you're going to have to try and win this one with Anthony Pettis, but one of my favourite picks, one of my favourite fighters to pick, Doc.
Pettis is a fun pick. We've seen Tadpole's Pettis a few other occasions. He's a wild pick. He's got side kicks, axe kicks, Showtime kick, literally named after Anthony Showtime Pettis. He's just a wildfire, and on top of that, he's got some really good boxing. Ortega, on the other hand, a lot of kicks, not particularly high level, some good boxing, as we've seen. There's some very good elbows, and of course, the grappling as well.
Yeah, I mean, Tadpole, you've got to remember, likes to say that he has the best Pettis in the game. I know that Kryptonite King will be out there probably in the chat saying something different, but both guys, fantastic abilities with Anthony Pettis in particular. I imagine he's going to have to really utilize that kicking, like you mentioned, though, Doc, if he's going to have success up against Ortega, who, I think you'd be mad not to try and get this fight to the ground. He has nice boxing, he has nice kicking out here, Humble, but ultimately his bread and butter is in that jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, 100%. You don't want to be striking too long with Pettis as well, but you can attack his stamina is something I like to do. I like to control if I'm Pettis. I like to start off with my hands just to make sure I'm not using a lot of my kicks early until I've got some reads, but we'll see how Tadpole comes off, and it looks like exactly the same tactics as I like to use them hands to set up the kicks first before you know what you're going to do, so you don't whiff a lot of shots, and Evo's struggling with this so far.
Yeah, I mean, he just did a nice job of attacking the body right there. Now going with a spinning elbow, trying to be unorthodox out here as he goes for the takedown attempt. I think that was actually a good entry, Doc, but once again, Tadpole, very much a veteran in the game and was able to stuff it.
Yeah, that is one of the big things, especially when you fight someone like Tadpole, is just being a veteran, knowing what move someone's going to attempt is just going to play a major impact in how effective it's going to be. It was a good shot, but it didn't get it. Both of them trading, tries to get the pullback elbow and doesn't succeed. The body work by Petty so far is also doing massive dividends to this stamina game, which is, I think, as you mentioned, Hubble, is exactly what you want to be doing as a Pettis player.
Yeah, 100%. He's doing a great job of just controlling the range right now.
I like the action from Evo, but I just feel like a lot of these shots are being blocked or slightly ripped, and the counter always seems to have a bigger impact when Pettis is landing. He actually goes for a takedown attempt of his own, sitting in half guard now. I don't know if this is the smartest option out here, Doc. Didn't stay there for too long, though, so kind of scratch that for the moment. Don't want to be on top of Ortega, right?
Yeah, no, you don't want to be on top of Ortega. He's got the full guard sweep from side control, so does Pettis. I think they also both have rubber guards. So in terms of actual bottom games, both of them are fairly well adept in it. Putting it in the pocket, looks at the pullback, gets the body shot. If Tadpole can time a body shot as he goes to the pullback, he's most likely going to get a stun on it, and that's going to be beneficial.
Oh, nice work. Hits him with, he goes for the 360 spin roundhouse kick there, just missed it, hits him to the body, comes forward with the fakes. I'm liking how he's trying to bait his opponent into kind of throwing a shot right now. And Panda gets him down on the floor. Can he keep him there? No, he can't, Cyrus.
No, that was nicely defended. I mean, right now, Pettis, or obviously Tadpole, is out here just really, really mixing it up very, very nicely. His body work, he is very, very much known for that. It plays dividends over the course of the fight. I mean, we're at the end of round one. His stamina is low due to his output, but as you see Ortega in a world of pain, Doc, his all-round body health, his head health, suffering quite a bit, as is the stamina at this stage.
Yeah, the body health. It's just the fact that when you play Tadpole, you're going to get pieced off. If you don't good defense, you're going to end up taking a lot of shots to that block. Wild shot at the end, knowing it's probably a safe thing to throw, and with that, that's probably Tadpole's round.
Yeah, you got to think that Tadpole kind of controlled the majority of that round. Did a fantastic job of attacking the head and the body, and he's coming off firing straight away here. I just like the way he's kind of mixing it up, mixing the single shots to the doubles to the triples. One of my favorite things.
Oh my fucking days!
Imagine.
Dad, don't give us a heart attack.
One of the craziest, one of the hardest things to kind of stop as well.
I know, bro. I know.
Yeah.
That is not the time.
God,
that is not
man.
the time, my man.
That was a scary thing indeed. Now Tadpole needs to put him out of his misery. You've already showcased that you've arguably got insane timing. Let's see it with an insane KO.
I can't believe he got away with that one.
I know. Evo was a millisecond away from winning that bout, Humble. I mean, my God. He's seen his opportunity, but Pettis landing the flashiest of shit and going for it again. He didn't learn his lesson, but Panda out here just sticking true. He isn't giving up yet. He's pouring the pressure on and trying to get something back against a dangerous Tad out in the UFC cage, bro.
If I'm Evo right now, I'm trying to bait him into a bit of a taunting war. You know, see if I can kind of catch him. Oh, he gets done. He got done. He got baited. He got baited. He basically threw that 360 spin roundhouse kick, knowing that he could throw a spin kick at the end. Evo thought, yep, I've got him. I've ducked his 360 roundhouse kick. He's my chance. He's my opportunity. Call an ambulance, but not for me. Bang! Right on the head right there. Brilliant work.
Yeah, appreciations to Tadpole stepping in on short notice, and respects to Evo for accepting that fight up against a well-known veteran across basically every competitive landscape that you can expect to see on UFC 4. So, you know, stock will only raise. This will be a good experience for Evo. I'm sure he's going to take some lessons from this loss this evening, you know, because it's difficult. It's difficult, man. Tadpole knows how to really, really get those hands going, and he didn't waste any time this evening, Doc. Just really, you know, get into work like the veteran he is.
Yeah, he really showcased it. I mean, he was a bit insane with the taunts, but either way, he did a fantastic job controlling that fight, moving that body work. So did Evo, to be fair. Like, Tad's a really tough opponent to start getting reads on. So both of them did a very good job there.
Well,
excellent. I'm sorry, we're going to move on to our main card right now, Cyrus, and what a main card we have.
Yes, sir. It is a 6-fight main card. I believe all of these fights are still on, and ready to go out here, Doc. Up first is going to be Lepo against Big Nige. Big Nige, I believe he sent me a message saying that he had COVID last time he was out, and even though he didn't, put on the best performance that he wished that he was able to display his full skills, that he is ready and raring to go this evening, which you love to see. This man's got some supporters out here, Doc and Humble. He seems to bring a lot of action to each and every fight, but Lepo is known about this block more than one time and quite clearly is able to hang with the best of them.
Yeah, well, Big Nige, I think, managed to build up like a 3-0 record, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check that, but I'm not sure. Tadpole was last fight. Lepo has built a similar record, so it's going to be an interesting fight. Who can lose their win streak? Big Nige, I think the backup you were talking about was the Big Nige Army, I believe them referred to, even with our current champ saying he's a part of it. So it should be an interesting time.
Bets that are live for these guys. So if you want to get your bets on now in the chat, make sure you bet. Some of them points are currently just going on to it. So currently both guys kind of getting a bit of a split in the bet. So Big Nige Army needs to come out and the Lepo Army needs to come out as well. If you think Nige is going to win this one back, your boy.
71% to Nige, 29% to Lepo so far. Still got about 30 seconds left on the predictions.
Yeah, I think these guys are just about ready to go. It appears that we may be having, I think it's a middleweight bout as kind of prearranged, but Nick Diaz up against Kevin Holland. Lepo's used him a lot of time, right, Doc? I mean, he's used Nick a lot of the time. And
that is Lepo's guy, though. Nick Diaz is Lepo's guy, and to be fair, he's not bad. I mean, he's also got a stat booster from one of the latest moveset updates, which means his health stats are pretty solid. He may not hit as well, but he can definitely last it and he can definitely trade in the pocket. He's a good 4-star in the middleweight division.
Yeah, he lost a bit of his speed, arguably, obviously, that you'd expect that. Gained a bit of health, but, the combinations from Nick Diaz is what you want to be hitting, the forward pressure, using his perks well. And it depends on what type of fighter you're fighting as well. But if he's fighting like a Kevin Holland, he can get in there and he can hurt his opponent. Then body shots are going to open up, and when the body shots open up, that's when the problems start for anybody fighting a Nick Diaz, because the stamina attributes of Nick Diaz are usually really good.
Completely agree with you, brother. Just going to take a moment to shout out Maniac Fight League. These guys coming through with a raid after their event. Make sure to check them out. Much like ESFL, lots of leagues bringing a lot of action to the competitive landscape out here, Humble, and it's beautiful to see everybody putting on fantastic events back to back and really showcasing the skills that the community has.
100%, and the reason we do this, the reason everybody supports each other, it's an amazing thing. We all do this for free. We all do this in our spare time, and we all do this because we love it and we enjoy doing it. All the fighters, all of the staff, they work so bloody hard to, apart from me, they work so bloody hard to make this thing happen. So appreciate everybody from other leagues who put all that work in, and then sharing that support, sharing that love with us. And all we can do in the future is return the favor and appreciate you guys. So make sure you follow them guys if you're in the chat as we get down to this one, Doctor.
No touch to gloves. It was an interesting occasion. Both of them starting fairly on a steady pace. The sidekick we saw earlier, maybe Holland's going to play a more distance game, but he doesn't want to move back off the back line, so I think we may just end up seeing these two trade in the pocket, to be fair.
Yeah, and that wouldn't be surprising knowing Lepo's past, right? I mean, he always likes to throw the hands, but it's interesting to note out here, Humble, in his recent performances since he joined LFC, his ground game has really excelled. He always had some, good anti-grappling, but his ability to put it on his opponent now and go for those submissions especially are pretty scary, brother.
You often see that when someone joins a camp with some good grapplers. They might be a good counter grappler, and that's amazing because they can understand how an aggressive grappler or a good offensive grappler can kind of get countered themselves because they know how to do that. But when they join a camp that's got good grapplers, they work on all the fundamentals. They have to work with people who are just at a similar level or better than them every single day. And this is where this sort of grappling comes into display. And he's going to go for the rear naked, and this is one of the most dangerous subs to get out of, Doctor.
It's one of the most dangerous, but you do kind of need a stamina advantage. In some cases, it's very strong, but it's a legal sub as well. Halfway through already, fairly quick. Having a bit of difficulty with the tracking still halfway through.
He's doing it, though. It's close.
Seem to be near him, but
it's close, bro. He's done this before. He's done this before, but he's going to escape. That was very close, brother. That was very close.
That was.
Where's he going to end up? That's the key.
Notice.
He's got him in the guard. There we go. Backing guard with a rubber guard right there. And he's going to turn him over again, Cyrus.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this in the past from Lepo. He doesn't like to play the rubber guard game, but he will utilize it very effectively to reverse the position. Very, very difficult for your opponent to know which or which transition you're going for out here, Doc. So often it ends up allowing you to get into an advantageous position and start to return the favor, put it on your opponent, from these top control positions.
Indeed, and I was about to say Lepo's doing a good job. He does manage to get a reverse, and now Holland's on top. He's got a minute 20 left to work, and this is probably where he wants to look either for a half guard format. You just need to get some decent ground and pound off. Now if you can get some success on the feet, maybe he'll make sure to secure the round.
Nice work right there, getting back to his feet, but in my opinion, sometimes that could be classed as weakness as he gets kicked in the face right there and pointed at National in perfect Diaz style. Returns the favour but doesn't land, and he's putting the pressure on now. 40 seconds to work, Cyrus.
Yeah, before he was in LFC, he was part of TP. And that was technical pressure. This man has hands for days and can really, really mix it up on his opponents now. But as we're seeing, the Nigel army is there for a reason. This man has some entertaining skills. Definitely on the feet as well, out here, Humble. He's always there and game to throw back some nice combinations. Got to mind your P's and Q's when you're in the pocket with this man.
Yeah, both guys kind of throwing the same kicks at the moment. You got to be very careful of kind of throwing that kick without a sort of setup, because it's an easy sidestep to a left hook counter, which can usually knock your opponent out or rock them at least. So they've got to be careful of the patterns that they're kind of going for here. But for me, in that round so far, Nick Diaz has kind of come out with the better strikes, even though he was seeing some Kevin Holland flying knees right there, Doctor.
Yeah, Lepo seemed to have the better striking and the better grappling. Nige seems a bit uncertain what he wants to do so far, and so it's definitely going to be interesting start to the second round. On a side note to what you mentioned about TP, you also remember Lepo's got history with ICB, so he's missed a bunch of times, which means he knows how to deal with pressure.
Yeah, I am absolutely loving it. We've got Nigel Army, or Nigel himself, I should say, the leader of Nigel Army, in the chat saying he needs to wake up in this bout. And I have to say, I agree to a certain what. He was having some successes, but it looks like Lepo is mounting, a certain steady offense up against him, and appears to be starting to run away with the fight little by little out here, Humble. I don't know if you agree, brother.
Yeah, I do agree, and you've got to attribute it to the grappling, the consistent technical grappling of Lepo. He's got some fantastic reads on his opponent. He does some nice things in the on top, but when he gets flipped as well, he's still dangerous, and that's kind of the key. He can get himself into rubber guard, as we've seen it earlier on, and he's got to be careful right now, Nigel. So Nigel back to his feet, and he needs to wake up, like he said. So let's see if we can rally him, and if his fans in the chat can rally Nigel to the victory.
So far,
Go on, brother.
So far, Nigel has been. He did something there. He managed to get a knockdown, probably so far winning this round, although he has got to make sure he repeats it several times throughout this fight now.
Yeah, I mean, I am loving the rally from Nigel. He is digging deep for this one, able to get a couple of moments of success, and that quite clearly out here, Humble, is boosting his confidence, having a lot of success on the feet, and starting to mount a nice little comeback out here.
Sometimes you have to get hit to realize you're in a fight, and that's exactly what Nigel's done right now. He's been in that first round. He got taken down. He got not dominated, but technically out grappled on the feet. He was caught a few times, and he's woke up and smelt the coffee in this round because he's coming out firing. And Lepo has to mind his P's and Q's going forward into this fight, Doctor.
Well, Lepo now sticks him on his arse for a minute 50 left. This is a long time to work, especially with his sub-offenses. We've seen countless times before. It's still a viable option now.
Yeah, I think that was a good, good change-up from Lepo. He's having a lot of success on the ground, having a lot of troubles on the feet. I have to say, though, the moments that Nigel was having success on the feet, the chat definitely woke up for those moments. We had a lot of call-outs for the Nigel army in the chat, even the champion that you're going to see later on this evening cheering this man on. So you know that he's trained with some dangerous opponents out here, Humble, and that may be the key for him to, dig deep up against quite clearly a dangerous veteran like Lepo.
You got to be careful. Look, he keeps putting him in that rubber guard. He's going to try again, and he gets him in this one. All he needs is one read in this rubber guard, and he can end a fight. But he manages to reverse his opponent and put him in a dangerous position again. But now Kevin Holland put him back in guard, and I'm sure he's got rubber guard as well. So we'll see if Nigel's going to try and use that. But a posture up right now, Doctor.
A stack guard's an underrated position, I've recently found out. I wasn't a massive fan of it to begin with, but you can do quite a bit of damage, especially when they're hurt and you just need a bit of damage. That end around, we've got round one most likely to Lepo, just due to his out-grappling and his general technique there. We see the knockdown of round two, most likely leading to Big Nige taking round two. So coming to round three, it's going to be an interesting battle between who's going to do what.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Whoever's able to get their game plan going earliest is going to really, really set the the tone for the rest of the round out here, Humble. I have to say that, of course, we're seeing the Nigel army coming through in the chat once again in between rounds. They want this man to keep this fight standing. They want to see him land some of that silky smooth striking, but Lepo really, really staying committed to this game plan and using his veteran savvy to edge towards a victory up until stuff like that. Look at the striking from Nigel. This is why he's a fan-friendly favorite out here, Humble.
Nice work. Yeah, and he's in the chat saying quick drink right now, even though we're frozen. I can see that we're frozen right now. I'm not really frozen, but Nigel is definitely not frozen. He lands a huge shot right there. He's trying to put him out there. Lepo comes forward, gets the clinch on him, Doctor, and just survives.
He really is. Both of them are doing a very good job here. You have Diaz just trying to find any openings. On the other hand, Big Nige seems to be finding the openings just a bit more, and so far that seems to be the main leading cause in how Big Nige is winning. There you go, DeFranchi again digging over and now starting to put on this pressure again.
Beautiful work right now from Nige to kind of control this round. Very good second round for him. So we'll see if he can kind of weather the storm of Nick Diaz right now as he push kicks him back. Beautiful choice of combination right there, Cyrus.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, man. I'm loving the mix-ups from both guys, in all honesty. The head health of Nigel is actually still pretty high as well. Obviously, Lepo hasn't been able to mount the offense with the ground and pound he could, would normally like on the when they've hit the mat. But I have to say, the damage that Nigel has been able to put out when they have been standing, Doc, quite clearly seems to be mounting up for him at this point. The head health very low for Lepo as he gets sat down.
Another death kick. Yeah, that's exactly what you want when you're Big Nige. Nara doesn't get the finish, but that head health, as you mentioned, is so low. He's doing it just to try and get his opponent aggravated. Both of them are doing on their one
nice.
Hell of a fight.
Great combination there from Lepo as he comes forward and he peppers his opponent's block. Really important right now. If he wants to rally in the last couple of minutes, he's going to have to put the pressure on Big Nige. He can't let Nige move freely around that end of the octagon, and Nige going for the clinch. He's getting peppered again. Can he survive? The chat is going wild for Big Nige right now, Cyrus.
Yeah, I mean, Lepo really, really pouring it on. There is an outcry of support for Nige, and he needs it. As he sits down, Lepo, he hears his fans cry out for something big, able to answer to that one. But once again, Lepo so composed out here, Doc. It's hard to get this man really, really off his A game.
He's been knocked down 3 times. Any normal person would be throwing wild, like you've got a minute left on the clock. You want to put on this pressure. Instead, though, he's just walking him down, looking for that one big shot. Again, jab straight, lead hook, and both of them are just going back and forth. Narrowly avoids it, shoots the takedowns, gets it, and 40 seconds left on the clock. I don't know what's going to happen now.
Yeah, I don't know how these judges are scoring it out here, Humble. This has been a back and forth bout. Both guys having massive moments of success from the beginning of this bout to the last 20 seconds. So for me, it can go either way at this stage.
I think Nige, as you can tell by the demeanor of each fighter, I believe Lepo thinks he might have to win this round or even get a knockdown to kind of win this one at the moment, whereas Nige kind of back it up, playing it easy as you should. You play the smart fight at the end, but hopefully that doesn't bite him in the arse and he doesn't watch 2 rounds for Nige. But we'll see now as we go to the judges' scorecard, Cyrus.
Yeah, I mean, there was a close bout. They're going to skip the decisions. It is! The Big Nige army is going to cry out in the chat. Nigel gets his hand raised up against an incredibly well-versed veteran in Lepo. An entertaining bout. I know some people weren't too happy for the ground game, but Nigel able to stick to his game plan this evening. Get that hand raised out your Doc, and get a noticeable feather in his cap.
That is a brilliant fight by Nige. He started out very slow in that first round, started taking it in the second, and then from that point onwards, he started taking that pace over and over. As soon as that chin was broken, he just found his shots and was able to work it nicely.
Maybe something we didn't actually talk about and touch upon in that fight as well is that as soon as that spin kick got used by Lepo in the fight, it kind of was a weapon for Nige. It kind of reminded him, oh yeah, I've got that as well, and it was used a few different times. We all know how deadly that can be going in a fight, so maybe a mistake on Lepo's part to catch Nige with the spin kick, because it kind of reminded him, oh yeah, I've got that move as well and I can throw it better than you.
Yeah, no, the death kick is an interesting kick. I've nicknamed it the death kick purely for the fact that the tracking on it is a bit peculiar compared to other kicks that are in the game. It's tracking. You have to be fairly cautious, otherwise you do risk that point of getting clipped. And both of them are using, I would say, extremely well, because because if you're not careful, you do leave yourself for a counter window. So as long as you make sure to hit the block, you do end up in a beneficial position.
You got to be careful, obviously, getting sidestepped on that one, but maybe the damage is got to be changed on some of them kicks. The crane kick to the body, the spin side kick to the head. Some of these things you can throw 10, 20, 30, 40 times around with not much stamina getting drained, and a maximum amount of vulnerability. So I'd love to see EA kind of address that in the future, especially going forward with UFC 5. But as we move forward, we're going to be going to the next fight on the card, which I believe, if you can correct me, Doc, it's Ned versus BSD M-Tran.
Yeah, Ned versus M-Tran. M-Tran's been he's been around the block for a while. He's been around since I think we've been around for PT, to be fair. Originally started on the Xbox side, moved over to the PlayStation, and now looking his main name over there. Ned, I believe, is a former title challenger against Atticum, looking to build his way back up to get that shot. And in the lightweight division, looking like he's going to go Gaethje. M-Tran is, and that's a fun one indeed.
Yes, sir. I mean, M-Tran has always been a fan-friendly favorite. Like many of the guys, that have come across from Xbox, has really started to make a stake for himself over there. But that entertaining style sometimes comes with high risk that doesn't always go your way. Big Balls Ned, on the other side of it, Humble, is a savage in the cage. This man has a name like Big Balls Ned for a reason. He always brings the action, constantly looking for opportunities to put his opponent's lights out.
Put his balls on the head, as we like to say. Big Balls Ned, balls on the head. I love this guy. I love watching this guy fight. It's always interesting. He always brings a certain aura to the prime time viewing, and it's going to be an interesting fight going forward. So who can implement this game plan, especially with Khabib? I find it very difficult to kind of use Khabib, mainly because I'm not a grappler, but he just doesn't have that sort of striking that can kind of give Poirier problems, in my opinion. But let's see if Big Balls Ned can change my opinion in this one.
He goes for a takedown. I think that's pretty big out here, Doc, but I just want to bring a quick noticeable attention to for everybody to the fact that not many people are touching gloves here this evening. Just bringing it back to the beginning of the card out here, Humble. These guys have woken up and they are feeling some violence this evening.
What I said earlier on, when you've got Michite versus Vieira, that's such a violent fight, as we both know. These guys have woke up, smelled the coffee, and chose violence this afternoon, Doc.
Oh my God, and Khabib's just putting on his pressure. I don't understand why people so dismiss Khabib striking. It's so clean, in my opinion. The jab straight's effective, followed up by those hooks, and the bit of the power, especially you see it in the prime Khabib, is also known. Poirier does hit hard and he's a bit quicker, but that's nothing to scoff at when he's got 96 and 95 respectively.
Completely agree with you, and I think that one of the things that's underrated by Khabib, or when people are against Khabib, is his power out here, Doc. I feel like his power is very, very sneaky. He may not be the quickest of guys. He's not slow, but that power definitely translates in the octagon and gets his opponents pretty hurt, in a pretty quick fashion.
Yeah, and that's what you want to be, especially if you can get that ground and pound, the power stat. If you've got a good guy with a good ground and pound stat and power stat, you're going to end up in a scary position, especially with someone like Khabib. You can just wail on someone and do so much damage.
As I was going to say, for me, the biggest attribute Khabib kind of has is when you start mixing up the clinch, mixing up the takedown. That's when the striking really opens up, just like in real life. And that's what you've kind of got to do. You can't just kind of stick to your striking with your combinations, in and out movement, and kind of focus on that. You've got to mix up the striking, mix up the grappling, mix up the clinch, make your opponent worry, and keep them on the heels, in my opinion, as well. And that's exactly what he's done. He's got him on the ground right now, and he's working.
Yeah, he definitely is. I mean, obviously, the Mike Tran or M-Tran, I always used to call him the Mike Train because he is a bit of a hype train when he came through. You know, everybody was aboard it. This man has fantastic hands, definitely has the ability to sniff out when his opponents are hurt. But when somebody like Ned is mixing it so well together out here, Doc, it can be really, really tough to get that momentum going, start to, get the flow going with the hands because you're so concerned with the takedown and what he's able to do once it hits the mat just like this.
Yeah, well, he really did a fantastic job. He went from this striking base to now he's just wailing shots down that top mount, fairly heavy, and trying to do a good job at defending it. But again, when you're a Khabib player, just having like one chance at top mount's gonna put your opponent on notice.
Oh, big shots right there. He's wailing. Big, massive shots, and he nearly gets him hurt. Big balls, Ned landing them big fists on Poirier's head right now, and he's really trying to put a stamp on that round, and I think he did, Cyrus.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. There are a few fighters that you can pick that have that sort of ground and pound where they can put together so many shots that, it can take you from full head health to zero in a matter of seconds, and Khabib is one of them along with Cejudo and a couple else, but every single round starts back on the feet, and M-Trown's definitely walking up out here, Doc, as he continues to pressure forward now. Straight onto a lead hook from Khabib, though.
Oh. Well, yeah, he's putting his pressure. Like, I commend him for knowing that probably the best case scenario here is to put on his pressure against someone who wants to shoot takedown. But Khabib also knows how to fight pressure, and that's by giving a good offense.
Beautiful work right there. Hits him with the uppercut, goes straight back to the body. Looking for the pullback right now from Khabib. And the head health of Poirier, as you were saying a second ago, is kind of suspect, but he needs to keep that pressure on. He needs to put Big Balls Ned on the fence. He needs to keep him on his heels and try and land those combinations consecutively to try and get a rally in the third round to finish him, Cyrus.
Yeah, definitely. And he's doing some nice shot selection at the moment. He's got some nice variation between the hooks, the uppercuts, and the straight shots out here, Doc, landing a lot of damage. But once again, as I say that, Ned just does a great job of mixing it together, takedowns and clinches. Even if they're unsuccessful, it means that M-Tran has to just recalibrate and recognize that threat.
Ooh. He really does, and M-Tran so far is putting on his pressure. I think this has been like a mainstay of round two, is M-Tran's putting on his pressure. Khabib signing off. That body work's probably going to play dividends as the round goes on, but both of them are staying fairly concise and content with how they're trying.
Both guys kind of landing right now, but what I'm noticing so far in this round for me is that M-Tran is... he's caught with a big kick to the face. That's what he's done. But I was going to say he's kept it on the feet for a long period of time, and that's exactly what I was expecting. When you keep it on the feet with a Dustin Poirier for a huge amount of time, it's only a matter of time before he catches you. Even if you are Khabib and landed some successful shots, he just has too many stats to kind of deal with that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. These guys now dig into the body. Big Balls Ned throwing in the uppercuts. Poirier responding with a roundhouse to the body, followed by that knee, Dog. They're really, really trying to make this into a gritty bout of narrow margins. My God, the action is non-stop. The damage being landed is non-discriminatory. As they continue to land at each other with relative ease at this point, Doc. There's not a lot of shots being rolled with. All damage is being landed fairly cleanly.
If I'm Khabib here, I'm keeping it fairly steady for the next 50 seconds. I'm going to look for that knockdown, see if I can buy back the round. If I don't, coming into this next round, I'm going to be shooting a takedown, because it's evident that although he's winning on the feet, he needs a ground game just to add added benefit to it now.
Oh, beautiful work right now. And as you said about the ground game, he's been using that to kind of land his strikes, and he gets M-Tran backed up with this non-discriminatory violence as we go forward in the last 10 seconds of this second round, Cyrus.
Yeah, lovely work. We're seeing some nice step-offs from Poirier, but he's in deep waters at the moment. His head health continuously blinking, even though he's not being hit. The damage definitely adding up for Ned over the course of this bout. Still a round left in the bag, or in the box to go, if you will. These guys bringing such a pace to this action, Doc. I don't imagine we're going to see a judge's scorecard, because they're just throwing with reckless abandon at this stage.
They really are just throwing reckless abandon. Both of them want the finish. Both of them want the KO. Double leg there, slammed straight down onto his back. Poirier's going to work his way up from his back to see if he can stop him on the pressure again on Khabib.
We're 100% going to see a decision now that Cyrus said that we won't see a decision. As the commentator's curse is coming into play, he just completely forgot that we can change it in a moment. But good job from Big Ned there. He got the first takedown that I believe he got in about 4 minutes. And this is going to open up the strike. And just like it is right now, he hits him with a big overhand right. He's got him against the fence. Can he finish his opponent?
No commentary, Chris. I stand by my words. They continue to throw down just the survival that Poirier needed. They will not make me eat my words. I believe in these guys. The action is non-stop.
You may believe, but does the game believe? Both of them have been known to survive shot after shot. Poirier gets to a reversal. Khabib on bottom now. He's got to work his way up, back up on feet. Does so, and both of them are still neck and neck with each other.
I believe Emtran needs some sort of big shots in these rounds to kind of finish the fight. As he gets rocked right there, he does dodge his opponent. He's giving himself the best of his chances on the feet. But from my opinion, he needs to do some damage to Khabib and maybe swing the judges. As I say that, he gets him backed up against the fence. And Big Balls Ned is still surviving. He's still dangerous, Cyrus.
As you said, he sits down Poirier once again. Damage is flying every which way. Scattergunning techniques all over the cage. Both opponents bringing the action, Doc. And I think that's an intelligent move from Big Balls Ned. I mean, the ground and pound is here for Khabib, and it means that he can mitigate some of that damage coming his way. Obviously, Poirier isn't really going to be able to knock him out from his back.
Top mount, side control. Side saddle, backside, any of these positions is just where you want to keep Emtran. Guess Kimura, this could be an interesting one. If you can get the chain as well, it's going to be more beneficial. Does so, but it seems like the escape pod's fairly high by the seams of it, and so he's going to suffer. But as you mentioned countless times, that once you get past that midway point, it definitely becomes more viable.
It's not even just that, it's wasting the clock, counting down that clock as you believe you're winning the fight. He might get the submission.
He's got it. He's got it, my God.
He does. That's what, 3 subs so far on a PT card? I think that may be a record.
I think it is, brother. I think it is. These guys coming out with some new and improved ground games. The submission threat is real this evening, Humble. Another one in the box, and Big Balls Ned got to be feeling very, very high after that one. Picking Khabib, showing that he had hands, and then getting the job done on the ground. A really, really diverse set of skills on display from this man.
Yeah, you're completely correct, but a bit of self-imploding right there from the Poirier pick and the submission at the end. It felt like he was right next to it. Maybe he took his eye off the ball. Maybe he pressed the button a bit too hard, but I felt like he was out. I felt like he was trying to rush it maybe a bit too much, and Emtran will be kicking himself because if he potentially got it back to the feet right there, he might have had a chance, but great performance from Ned and great win for him in a fantastic fight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have a couple of bouts left. I believe we have 4 scheduled for this evening on this main card left to go. Quick look ahead through those, Doc. Please chime in at any time if I'm incorrect. But I believe on the cards we have TFA's very own owner in Puggernaut, as he's formerly known, up against a teammate of doctors out here in KM Caliber, a man that really, really does take any fight on any time scale against any opponent and always seems to bring the action. EK Jakey.
A rematch, by the way. Just on a side note to add a bit of a storyline to the Pug Caliber fight. That's a rematch after Caliber threw a flying knee and got hooked by Pug in, I believe it was the Xbox Grand Prix way back when we had.
Yeah, I remember. He pulled that one out of the bag. I mean, that was some clean shit, but that was a fun fight, and we know it's gonna be again this evening, Doc. I think that EK Jakey and Killer Jake are still on the cards again. Obviously, EK Jakey, a man that has sensational grappling, but trains with some of the better strikers in the world, just like EK Trixie out here, Humble. So quite clearly can, stand with the best of them. But Killer Jake is a savage in the cage with those hands. I mean, his Conor McGregor is a thing of beauty.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen a few different people in the chat. I think it was Shogun as well coming through saying Killer Jake. A few different people kind of shouting this guy's name, but he's got no easy task in hand. The Elite Kings members are a fantastic team, all banned by each other, and you always see them in the top of the Primetime cards. You always see them in the top of the ESFL cards. These guys are no slouches, and they're not being used to high pressure situations. These guys knows exactly what they're doing, and it's a tough task to beat them. But the first fight we have on the next fight we have on the card right now is Pug versus Caliber. Let's see if we can get that one on and let these guys swing it out. As you said, it's a rematch, Doc.
Yeah, it's a hell of a rematch. Some would argue Caliber was winning up until the point he got knocked out. So I'm not sure who's going to have the confidence. Is Caliber going to be a bit scared? Is Pug going to be a bit more confident into this fight? It's going to be an interesting one to see.
Yeah, for sure. Welterweight, fun weight class. Looks like Leon Edwards up against RDA, which once again is a beautiful pickup here, Doc. Allows you a lot of options between the grappling to the beautiful striking that he brings to the table. I say all of that and he mixes it up to Jorge Masvidal last minute. Looks like these guys are looking to land a couple of three pieces with the soda as they step into the cage welterweight.
I would have to double check as well, but I believe these are the exact picks I may have started. No, actually, it was lightweight, but it was a lightweight Masvidal in the favor of Caliber. So Caliber's moved up a weight class using Masvidal in his main weight class. Pug is Leon Edwards, and it's going to be an interesting fight. Both of them got good kickboxing and boxing in general.
You have 56 seconds to pick. Make your picks in the chat, as Pug has got the 59% lead, but I'm liking the way Pug's kind of using this one, and I'm really disappointed we're not going to see this fight in real life so in the next couple of weeks, because this is something I can't wait to do. And I do believe Leon Edwards smokes him.
We will have to see, brother. I think it's going to be a fantastic bout. We don't get it in a couple of months, as you said. Hopefully they'll rebook it. But we do get to see it from two high-level UFC 4 competitors in TFA. The Pug trying to represent his league, leading by example, bringing all of the techniques to bear this evening up against a dangerous KM Caliber. I mean, you know better than most, Doc, that this man has an uncanny ability to mix it all together and make really any realm of this game incredibly tough for his opponents.
Well, that entire Caliber's game, if he's having struggling on the feet, he's going to go cuddle you on the ground. If you want to cuddle on the ground, he's going to cuddle you on the ground and make your life very difficult. And so this is kind of just Caliber's style. He will just go with the flow, see where the time takes him, look to make good counters, good reads. Pug, on the other hand, the striker, he likes playing on that book foot, using that jab, book foot, back foot, and with a jab and that straight just to make reads on his opponents.
Yeah, Pug, one of my all-time friends. I absolutely love Pug, coming from the same place I come from in the northeast of England, so he's rallying through right now, and I'm liking the way he's kind of striking at the moment. He's peppering his opponent with the jab, he's using the straight, but he's using rangefinders, making his opponent walk into something. If he wants to go for the takedown, if he wants to try and hit him, he has to walk into something first, and that's to take one to kind of give one.
Yeah, I think I agree with you out here as well, Humble. I think the biggest thing I'm seeing from Pug at this point that's giving him some success in this bout is that lateral movement. He's using in and out movements incredibly well. Doesn't seem to be taking pictures after his shot, Doc. And I think that's allowing him to have some success in a bout, up against a man that really, really does take it to his opponents and tend to overwhelm a lot of the guys that step in the cage with him when it comes to Caliber, that is.
Ooh, I think both of them are keeping a fairly steady pace. I wouldn't say someone's really edging in victory. Although Caliber does suddenly take it, getting that stone, working that body, going up top, then back again. It just seems to be the case of, although Caliber's getting the pressure put onto him, that isn't Pug's usual game. He's the one used to getting that pressure, so I think this is just maybe a part of Caliber's game. Letting Pug put the pressure on, push him out of the comfort zone, and then start looking for the shots.
I feel like there was a mistake there from Pug, but maybe something part of his game plan. But he switched stance when I felt like he was comfortably kind of outstriking Caliber on the feet, using that jab. The jab was a lot closer in the southpaw position, and he switched stance to kind of mirror his opponent. And as soon as he did, he got caught, but he's switching back again now. Maybe he's seen something I didn't, but Caliber doing a great job of countering him so far.
Yeah, I have to say Caliber's offense is really, really up there with some of the best on the scene. But one of the things I think is really, really underrated as I cast across to some of the KM guys saying that they are not sure that Pug is maybe high level. I have to disagree. This man has really, really advanced, kind of all-round defense. We've seen it a number of times already in this fight. Caliber puts his combinations together really, really well, Doc, and we're seeing the ability for Pug to roll with those punches, get out of the way of a lot of them, and answer back with some nice, clean counters of his own.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, it's also the case that he's just getting deep to the body. Pug's also just making sure that straight is kind of Pug's main tool here. Every time he enters the pocket, he's always making sure to have that rear hand on level.
Yeah, this is lovely action from both guys. Another big front kick from Caliber Humble as he rains down some beautiful body work and then gets back on the bike so that Pug can't get his shots in.
Shot.
This is crazy work, brother.
Yeah, 100%, and he's doing a great job of countering him with big sort of shots right now, but he gets whiff right there, while Pug's doing a fantastic job of focusing on the fundamentals. He's peppering him with a jab, he's making sure big swings in his face, he's sometimes throwing the hook to kind of disguise that, but he's going to try and catch him right now, and he gets away with it. Caliber got lucky right there that Pug couldn't capitalise as he whiffs the head kick, but for me, Pug just needs to keep doing what he's doing in this fight and kind of avoid those big shots and keep out of range when Masvidal wants to be in range. But at the moment, he's kind of willing to trade, and that's what's causing them openings for Caliber.
Yeah, lovely work, and high-educated play right there, Dog, as he decides to go for the top control, thinks that he may not get the finish, so he's going to take that measured approach to continue the offense and look for the finish over the next 2.5 minutes.
Well, 2.5 minutes on the ground with Cal can seem like about 2 rounds in some cases. You've got to make sure your defense is always good. You've got to stay patient. Otherwise, he will just capitalize on it. Pug getting an easy time getting to this full guard, but past that, he's having a bit of difficulty seeming to get anything going.
Nice work right now, though, from Caliber as he passes guard again and blocks the transition. You don't expect the grappling sometimes from somebody like a Masvidal, but when somebody can do it with a grappler that's so efficient in the striking department, and then they can control you on the ground, they can make it feel suffocating. That just shows how good of a grappler they are on this game.
Yeah, and that...
The most difficult... Sorry to cut you off there, Looney. The most difficult part about grappling with a non-grappler most of the time is actually just getting the takedown. And so if you can just beat someone from the feet, get a knockdown, and then do what Caliber's doing here, that's kind of the way you want to play it.
Yeah, no, completely agree with you. I think that we've discussed this in the past out here, Doc. I mean, the ability for Caliber to mix it all together. He's one of the very, very few people that's able to, mix in the single leg feints and do it with, real kind of effect. It often seems, you see his opponents drop their hands. And the reason is behind it is that when he gets his opponent down, he really, really puts it all together, Humble, and lets them know that he is dangerous from these positions and they don't want to be there with him in future.
Well, you're saying he let them know, and he's actually talking in the chat right now saying that Pug is incredibly bad as he's on top of his opponent trying to beat them up. So there's a little bit of a gamesmanship going on right now to be able to play with one hand and type with another. I don't know how these guys do it, but
I think to be fair, we're a little bit behind, brother. I think they were in between rounds. I think that's what it is, but Caliber's not on that level, my man.
The thing is, I don't know.
I've seen
Caliber.
it.
I can completely... it wouldn't surprise me if he was doing what Humble was saying. Either way, though, the third round kicks off. Pug's still in this fight. Caliber probably going to be looking to get a bit more frustrated, maybe looking for a bit of a KO now. Well, Pug again, when it gets wheel kicked and gets dropped again onto his knee, Taunton. Now Caliber looking for a finish.
Yeah, man, he's so measured in these positions, though, right, Humble? I don't even feel like he wants a quick finish right now. If it's not like a single shot, ender, he just seems to be more about making sure he doesn't let this fight slip away from him like it did in their first meeting. I've
got a feeling it's about respect, and the first meeting that I don't know what's going on with the talk or whatever, but he clearly feels like he had an 8-0 victory leading up to that on Pug. Pug got that one victory where it mattered on the big stage, and he feels disrespected by that. I don't know if there's been some beef between these two, but so far Caliber showing his attributes throughout this fight in every asset, and Pug not giving up. He's trying his best to win this fight, and he still has a fighting chance, Doctor.
Yeah, he still has a fighting chance, but again, it's always the puncher's chance. But with Cal's going to make his life difficult. He does get the whiff there, though. The stand high.
He missed again.
He goes for it again. And this is the thing, man. I mean, Pug is so dangerous because he's always in the bout till the very, very end. His defense, when it matters the most, often stands up, but the offense from Caliber really is, coming to bear at this stage. He just has to be careful. Those big flying knees, those head kicks, Pug is going to duck them, and he will put you to sleep if you give him the opportunity.
He catches him. He catches him again. Pug's chasing him around the octagon, and he lets off the gas. He must have been tired right there. He gets dropped.
Drops him with the straight. Now looking for the finish, top mount position here. Cal just goes for the umber.
It wastes the clock as well, so it's a smart decision for Carl. Kind of, show off. He give up on it though, Cyrus.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to maintain position. He feels that he probably has the stamina advantage, although he cannot see it. So he's going to try and utilize some nice grapple advantage, building that up with these short shots, maintain this position. I imagine there's going to be some, some large onslaught of ground and pound when the opportunity presents out here. Doc Caliber has been known to change up tempos on a moment's notice.
Well, that is a very good thing about being at my level. Just managing to change tempo, go from slow to quick in a matter of seconds just to confuse your opponent. And 30 seconds left on the clock, another drop, and Pug's got to be disheartened by this. He got the first win, but by the seems of it, Cows just came out and dominated this second for the last 3 rounds.
Al's got to be careful though that he doesn't go for that flying knee again and gets caught. But Pug so far needs to knock him out in the next 3. It's not going to happen. Caliber with a dominant performance, but not a finish. I think personally, I'd be a bit disappointed, Cyrus, if I didn't get a finish on somebody that I felt like, if I'm calling them bad, if I'm calling them garbage in the chat and then saying what I'm saying while I'm fighting them, by the way, I'd want that finish. I want that dominant performance. But it was a good fight. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it definitely was a fun fight. Always expect that to be the case when either one of these guys are stepping in the cage under these lights. But tonight was, the night of Caliber. 30-26 across the board. Clearly felt like he had a point to prove. Was playing with his food a little bit, which may have got him caught. But tonight he was able to, get through that bout and do it with, some class. He did it very well. He did talk a lot of trash, but didn't get the finish. I suppose that's the only kind of blemish on the man when he really did put together some, as you see by the statistics, some nice percentages going in his favor. Just as Pudgy jumps in the chat, yeah, these guys are going crazy in the chat. Let your fighting be done in the cage, ladies and gents. You're all going to get opportunities to fight each other, but yeah, no.
Highlighted right there, TFA versus KM. Maybe this is something in the future because these guys clearly don't like each other. But as you're saying, you have to do it. You have to do your fighting in the primetime octagon, as Caliber did right there. But we're going to be moving on to the next fight, Doctor, and it's going to be one that everybody's been talking about in the chat so far. It's going to be Jakey versus Killer Jake. What a fight we have here. But can you break this one down for us?
So we have EK Jakey, an EK grappler turned striker somewhat, although that's not to underestimate his grappling. He can still grapple, but he's also been trained the likes of Spider, Trixie. You know the deal. It's the EK camp. In the other corner, Killer Jake, not a grappler. That we can say for certain. However, he has one mean McGregor. This is in the bantamweight, so sadly he can't use that, but there's other picks which could do it. You got Yang, Cody, you've got so many good picks in the bantamweight division that I'm expecting Killer Jake to find that pick and just run with it, because that's Jake Styles. He's looking for any type of counter to sneak in. Jakey will probably do the same, but I'm expecting him to try grapple as well.
Yeah, entertaining bout ahead of us there, guys. Bantamweight is the weight class. It appears that we're actually having a Peter Yan mirror match in this match, which I wouldn't be too surprised with, knowing these guys' styles. Obviously, Jakey does like to mix in the hands with his all-round style, but of course, he's going to want some grappling to go with it, humble, and that's available when you do pick Peter Yan. He has that trip and an underrated ground game by many.
We've seen it in the actual fight, him against Sterling. He did a great... I think it's his stamina, the way he trains at the Tiger Muay Thai gym, and he kind of moves about as well. If you want to watch some of the best training footage of some, like, how hard it is to be an athlete, go and watch the Tiger Muay Thai tryouts on YouTube. They're an hour long, and you get to watch what it takes to just get in the team to even spar Peter Yan and spar these guys. You've got to go through some of the most grueling training I've ever seen in my life, 4 or 5 times a day, fighting the best, fighting the killers, and that's what Peter Yan does on a day-to-day basis. He's a Russian workhorse, and that's why not only his striking's amazing, his grappling's amazing as well, because he just utilizes that and his stamina just shines through. But we'll get to see these guys kind of mix it up with both characters. And mirror match usually tells you who the best player is, Doc.
In mirror matches, yeah, it really does tell you who the best players are. I've just seen what Jakey put in chat of Jakey's a striker, so maybe we're going to see a striking match. Both of them are going to be a very interesting fight. You've got Yan, who's got force of nature, so I think in most occasions it's going to be the case of who's going to get the head health advantage first, and then
What's
who's
going on
gonna
right now?
keep that running?
I don't know. Jake maybe having Killer Jake, that is, maybe having some sort of fit out here. No, finally decides to choose whatever shorts. Clearly indecisive. Obviously too many options for him to process. Hopefully he doesn't get overloaded by the combinations coming his way from EK Jakey, because Killer Jake, when he's on form, has some of the loveliest striking that's available, Doc. His ability to mix it up to the head, to the body, those body uppercuts in particular, there's something to behold.
The body uppercuts, the slip body uppercuts, the slip uppercuts. Jake has Killer Jake has a very good understanding of the general striking game. Jake, he's probably looking to prove the exact same as he fights arguably one of the best strikers in the game.
Yeah, but both these guys' dicks were picking the same shot, so it makes it hard for us. But EK Jakey is in the red with the red gloves, and Killer Jake there in the blue gloves, just so you guys can kind of keep track of the fight as much as we can as well. But it looks like an absolute barn burner in the center of the octagon so far. Both guys, no feeling out process at all, Cyrus.
No, 100%, my man. These guys come in with all of the action that has preceded them, before these fights. Obviously, been watching out for those bouts and decided to come out with, real bad intentions in this bout. We've seen it before, Doc, from somebody like EK Jakey. He's so good on the ground, but occasionally he just lets his ego get into the equation and decide he needs to prove that he can as well.
Again, you see both of them using that jab, especially Jakey's tripling up that jab, making that block, overcommit in some cases, and then sneaking shots around the side, and it's working so well for him. Jake, on the other hand, having a difficult time trying to move his head around the block, around the jab, and that's kind of what you want to be doing against someone like Jake, making it difficult for him to move his head.
Yeah, bit of footsie going on right now. Both guys trying to figure out that feet, and you can see that Killer Jake has kind of switched to southpaw to try and land that lead hand and cut off the lead foot. Very high level fight at the moment going forward. Neither guy kind of catching through, but I do like the way EK Jakey is pressing the action and getting that forward in and out movement, along with when he backs his opponent up behind that black line. Yep.
He's so dangerous when he's in the driver's seat, is Killer Jake. Right now, though, just put it in there, you can clearly see advancements to EK Jakey's all-round striking. I think you'll agree, Dog. He's never been bad in those positions, but definitely seems a lot calmer on the feet this evening. Yet to see a takedown attempt from either man.
I don't. If I see Killer Jake shoot a takedown tonight, it's going to be purely by accident. I feel like Jakey is staying fairly patient. It's just a jab mainly. Like, this is what I always talk about whenever I watch it, when I'm commentating. Oh!
Beautiful work right now. He's going to try and finish his opponent with a ground and pound, and he does. Holy shit.
That is craziness. Jakey living up to the hype this evening. EK Jakey saying, I've got hands too. Killer Jake will not intimidate me. And he gets the finish in a big way. That was I think it was a stutter step that set up the hook. Just a beautiful way to close out that fight there, Humble.
Yeah, I like it when the ability, guys can show the ability to finish fights as well. We've seen people get rocked 9, 7, 6, 5, 4. For me, the most impressive is when somebody gets you hurt, their ability to finish it. It tells you how good of someone is and at the level that someone's at when they can get you hurt once and quickly jump on your opponent and then get that finish every time. But for me, that is a high-level competitor in EK Jakey, and he did his job. He did it in minimum effort, and he got out of there really unscathed there, Doctor.
Yeah, he did get out of there unscathed, and similar to the high competitor, it's just a fact that we all knew Jakey as a grappler, but he comes out of there and strikes with, I think, as I mentioned, I'd be one of the best strikers on the game. It's Killer Jake. He knows how to fight. He knows how to control a fight, and here Jakey is. Off of one slip. It's all it was. He just one counter and then he was out. This is just a fantastic job there.
Yep, beautiful work, and a perfect way to set us up for the next bout, the co-main event of the evening, the pound for pound GOAT, arguably by many, EK Trixie, trying to put together another run at Primetime Gold. He's up against a bit of fresh blood out here, Humble, a man that has joined the league in recent months, started to make a bit of a wave, having consecutive performances that have really stood out, and as a result, he finds himself in a big position, co-main event up against one of the best players of all time.
Yeah, and you've got Optics, who's currently sitting there 8th with a 4-2 record coming against somebody like Trixie, who's sat in fourth, really wanting to get himself back in that title picture out with 3-1. Optics has a massive opportunity here to kind of put his name on the map against a really good opponent and give his case of why he should be one of the next in line for that title shot. At the same time, EK Trixie, he'll be wanting to fight like the likes of Fadanator later in the future. So he's got a massive opportunity as well. You know how it is when the old dog, the old guard, the guy likes of Trixie, have to put their rank online against these young guns coming forward to take their spot, Doctor.
I mean, yes, indeed. Trixie is, I think you can somewhat deem part of the old guard, but I don't think he'll ever be an old dog when it comes to this game. He's always so good. He's always one step ahead of the game. It's just his ability to adapt every fight, every second of the fight. It's just a lot of the time, especially when you get to these high levels, especially sometimes with Optics fights out, it's just that ability to adapt and change on the fly.
And just to chuck this in there very briefly, maybe changing some of the biases that Humble might have, but Optics and Big Nige and Fadanator, the champion that we're about to see in the next bout, all Northern men as well, Humble. So there's a lot of you guys representing out on the highest levels possible. You've got the main event tomorrow, which obviously you're going to be throwing down in. And tonight, EK Trixie going up against another Northern man. Optics on the rise. Big Nige's younger brother, who's looking clean in the opening going.
Beautiful work right now, but I'm loving the movement so far from Optics, but his leg is shot, Doctor. How the hell is he going to keep going in this fight with his leg health so low?
Oh, it's just that cases. A couple good leg hits can cause massive issues, as well as the power deficit. That's going to be big, and the recovery stat Whitaker's good, but it doesn't regenerate leg health that quickly, and 3 minutes 20 left on the clock. It's already looking like it may go in the favour of Trixie, but again, commentary curse, you never particularly know.
Oh, lovely duck. The former champion, Humble, gets that down with a pull elbow. Optics staying dangerous every single second of this bout.
Oh, beautiful work. Gets rocked right there, hits him with the uppercut, and Trixie's got a chance to finish his opponent right now and put a stamp on this division. Beautiful work from Optics.
And this went from calm to mental in about the space of about 50 milliseconds. It felt like spinning upper kick there. Blocks overcommitted. Both of them re-engaging, disengaging, ducking under, elbow fired, and both of them are just looking for one big shot or just something to drop each other.
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing from both guys out here, Humble. I have to say, Optics being very composed for a young man like he is. Up against a dangerous opponent, Trixie really looking like the veteran so far, getting the better of the damage, but obviously having a lot of adversity on his way to trying to get this victory.
I think he might have rushed the finish a bit too quickly in that one. That's why he got caught. But he was doing a fantastic job earlier in the round of just double jabbing his opponent, hitting him with a straight now and then. But as soon as his opponent moved the head, attack the leg, because that's when they're going to be most vulnerable, is why the leg health is so low. He kind of abandoned that a bit and then let his opponent back into the fight, and now they're in a kind of a phone booth fight with a bit of outside fighting. We're going to see how Trixie kind of approaches this one, and if he goes back to the game plan that he had earlier on.
He's landing some good shots at the moment, I have to say. Out here, Doc Optics definitely getting some dangerous shots to really sneak through the defense of EK Trixie, but he's so game. Trixie really never lives up, lets up the center of that cage and always seems to be controlling the fight up until big damage lands.
Well, again, both of them are just going back and forth. Both of them are looking for that one stun before they start putting on this massive pressure. That's what we've seen throughout the entirety of when they both have been stunned. It's the case of they get one stun and then that pressure just increases by tenfold.
0 to 100 in 0.1 out here, Humble. These guys living up to all the hype. They made the co-main spot for a reason. Obviously have one of the biggest veterans on the game taking on some fresh blood that clearly has some real high upward potential, as he's looking very good against arguably one of the best players on the game.
He switched to southpaw as well. He's starting to use his lead hand a lot more, and that pullback counter as well with that rear elbows coming into play. You got the bobblehead happening right now, but he's trying to press his opponent back, and Trixie's trying to keep the discipline, press Optics back and get some sort of damage going on against that head health, and Optics looking for the counter, Doctor.
Optics is looking for this counter. The jab of Trixie is now starting to give Optics a bit of trouble. As you said, the strike gets clipped. Uppercut swallow. Trixie looking to jump on. Optic does manage to get up. Elbow follows. The elbows have been quite effective this entire fight. And head kick also lands. Both of them throwing wild shots, just trying to get a finish.
Oh, beautiful ducking roundhouse kick right there. And I've noticed a lot of uppercuts are getting through on these guys. And Trixie has got him down again. He's pushed him against the fence. He's going to get the chance to push him right now.
This is bad for the new blood Optics. He has the former champion raining down shots. He manages to get him to posture down, but he now has a dangerous grappler along with that, being a fantastic striker. EK Trixie trains with some of the best on the ground out here, Doc, and can make your life misery, especially with 2 minutes 50 on the clock. That's a lot of time to work, my man.
It really is a long time to work, especially in the hands of Trixie. That head health blinking. As soon as he lands a single elbow, you can't imagine what he's going to be doing if he lands any substantial ground and pound. Gets a deny there, a couple elbows fired off, and this is a scary place to be.
Yeah, dangerous right there. If he got a few more elbows off, he's probably going to get the posture up to finish, but gets back to half guard and obviously back to side control again. This is a bit of a battle right now. I'd like to see Optics kind of use that sprawl position maybe to try and avoid the side control, but he's letting his head get peppered, and it's going to be a tough task on the feet, Cyrus, to get out of this one.
Yeah, it is. The referee was calling for some more action, so EK Trixie obliges, postures up, but gets reversed, but doesn't waste any time, Doc. Gets him straight back, brother.
Yeah, that's just how you know Trixie's got a good grapple again. The fact he's able to read his opponent like so. Can't maintain the side control, but he can definitely, if he's in a danger position, like get on bottom half guard, he knows exactly what to deny.
A bit of a rush there coming from Optics. He needed to take his time. He needed to set up that shot as he gets finished in the. Oh, you do it. There we go.
He calmed himself. He calmed himself.
Second round. Great fight, boys. Great fight, boys, and a great win right there from Trixie.
Yeah, I think that Optics really should hold his head high after this one. He put on a valiant effort up against one of the best players that have ever graced the Octagon in Primetime, ESFL, or any of the other affiliated leagues. This man dangerous start to finish and gets his hand raised once again. Probably the betting favorite. I didn't see the statistics on it, but Trixie's...
No, actually, he wasn't.
Was he not? Wow, okay. Well,
No.
the Youngblood was quite clearly the favorite going into this one. Had a lot of support in the chat. You Northern men quite clearly stick together, Humble. But even though he didn't get his hand raised, like I said, stock is raised and an interesting future ahead of Optics. I'm eager to see where he goes from here, what adjustments he makes after fighting one of the best.
Yeah, 100% of people picked Optics in that one, which was an interesting pick. But yeah, great win for Trixie. I believe that Optics can hold his head high. He had a great performance. Trixie's game planning from the start was very simple, very smart. And when he did get hurt, when he did get rocked, he went back to the game plan, went back to the pressure, and did a great job of just overall peppering his opponent, putting the damage on, and eventually getting that finish on the ground where he knows he's good.
Yes, sir. Well, with all of this being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have called some beautiful fights already this evening, but now we are here for the time that we have all been waiting for, which is Fadinator, the current champion that's putting together just a really nice reign of his own out here, Doc. He's taking on a man that has had some ups and downs in the community, Broomstick, but I had some training with him myself. He took that forward, learned from some high-level players, and has been putting it all together. Earned himself a spot at challenging the best that's currently on the Xbox scene in Primetime MMA in TD Fadinator. Gonna be a tough time, but with recent successes, imagine that his confidence is probably riding pretty high going into this bout.
Yeah, well, you got Fadinator, the current undefeated champ, Broomstick, putting again, I think it was a 4-fight win streak to get to this point, so it's going to be an interesting thing to see. He had a bit of difficulty all the way back in Season 1 and in Season 2. Now in Season 3 on the Xbox side, I feel like Broom's just going to be more adept, more capable than what we've previously seen, so it's a worthy opponent against someone like Fadinator.
Yeah, and obviously Fadinator coming into this one as the champion is 6-0. And like you said, a 4-fight win streak from Broomstick. He is 4-1, so he did come into the league with some adversity, and then he's managed to adapt and turn that round and learn from his mistakes. And that's what it's about in this community. You've got to learn from your mistakes. You've got to adapt and winning 4 fights in a row is not easy in prime time. So a worthy opponent from Fadinator, and if Broomstick gets this one, don't doubt it is definitely an upset, but Broomstick is more than capable of doing this, winning this fight.
Yeah, completely agree, my man. And just before we go into this bout, I just want to kind of touch upon that point one more time, that people like Broomstick, especially, you go back and you look at previous records, has definitely had some lows in terms of his competitive career, gone through some periods of, you know, a couple of losses in a row, just like the likes of Rara. But Doc, the ability to continue plugging away, improving your game, taking these losses and putting them, you know, in your favor as learning experiences are, you know, some of the building blocks that you need in order to become a fantastic player at UFC 4 or any game for that matter. And it's exactly why we see Broomstick in this top position right now, challenging for the title.
Yeah, you are correct. That's just in life in general. You know, you got to learn something. You got to lose a bit to win, and that's what good players do. They lose a bit to win. They learn from the mistakes. It's whoever can perform at the highest level. It's whoever can perform on the big stage that can walk away with that, Doctor. And so far, Fadinator has been flawless.
Fadinator has been flawless. Will Broomstick make Fadinator no longer be flawless? Who knows? Featherweight division, McGregor Mirai, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be probably a striking match to see who can knock each other out the quickest.
Yeah, I think that this actually, as weird as this may sound, Fadinator is so good on the ground, so good on the feet, humble, but he's extra dangerous on the ground as well. I almost feel like this favors somebody like Broomstick, who has really been working on his hands, has adequate grappling, but you know, his best chance is probably with the knockout, especially with somebody like Conor McGregor that has that one hitter quitter sort of power.
Yeah, this fight could take a drastic turn. You see the run in there. I like the strategy from Broomstick. He really wants to win this fight.
No touch of gloves tonight.
No respect in the five division. Loads of heated rivalries going on is what we like to see in prime time. We'd like to see some respect, but guess what? That doesn't sell the fight. The fake glove touch does, and Broomstick's coming out banging, and Fadinator's just caught him with the uppercut as he presses it back to the cage, Cyrus.
Yeah, I mean, the champion really starting out this fight with a big statement, getting some early damage off. Broomstick has been injured in the past. He needs to compose himself. He has, you know, this isn't the first time or first kind of rodeo he's been part of, so I imagine that he is going to find his feet over the course of the bout, but definitely in the opening going right now. He has to be careful, Doc, and look for something just like that, brother.
Oh my god, he could be
and there's a little slip off the side, dodges the uppercut that may have been death for Fadinator. Both of them done very aggressive, and as another slip that counters Fad, gets clipped with the uppercut. Broomstick knowing how to counter back, but again, it just seems like Fad's defense is a bit too tight a lot of the time.
Oh, beautiful work there. I'm liking the way Broomstick's kind of getting into his groove right now. Fadinator's having his moments, Broomstick's having his moments. This is a back and forth war. Both guys playing footsie so far, Cyrus, and it's kind of a battle of those feet to see who's going to be landing first. Yeah,
I mean, this is a 5-round main event, just to bring your attention back to that. Both guys starting out this fight with a crazy pace. You can't imagine the decision is going to be seen when they're setting such an emphatic pace to start out the opening round. Hitting the midway point right now, and they're trading in the pocket, Doc. Really letting it all hang out here.
They really are ahead of and going to survive maybe a full round, to be honest. Both of them going back for it. Not particularly bothered about the bodywork, it seems like, and just purely just looking for a clean, simple KO.
I'm liking the teep so far from Fadinator. He started to adapt it as he gets jumped by his opponent. Oh, and Broomstick goes to jump on him right there, and the upkick stops Fadinator from taking any more unnecessary damage. He gets back to his feet and he gathers his thoughts, Cyrus.
Yeah, back and forth, brother. The damage, the pace, both guys. Look at that right there. The challenger sits down Fadinator. We might be seeing Anu as he pushes forward for the finish.
Got really tense there all of a sudden. Fadinator is so risky. This shows that this is just a fight you never expected. Fadinator nearly getting finished in the first round. 40 seconds left of it. Fadinator is trying to recompose as Broomstick advances on him.
Broomstick inviting him onto the end of his punches right now, but having to deal with that jab in his face. Constantly catches him with the left hook. Sorry, I've got them mixed up right there, but Fadinator is now getting pressed back. He catches him with the right hook coming forward, and this has been an absolute war in this round so far, but I've got to give the advantage to Broomstick going forward, Cyrus. It's been a very interesting fight.
Yeah, it's a hard one to call. I'd love to see the stats. As you say, Broomstick getting the 2 knockdowns to the 3 stuns, taking a lead in terms of the significant damage landed, although the strikes were very, very close, quite clearly catching the champion in more high vulnerability positions out here, Humble, and as a result starts out this fight nicely, doesn't touch the gloves, says no Fadinator, back up, no respect, I choose violence, let's swing in the center of the cage, and they continue to do so out here, dog.
I really want to know why nobody's touching gloves tonight. You always see touching gloves, and you're just not getting it tonight. It's actually insane. Fadinator's come out of this round rejuvenated, evidently, of being happy, content, playing this footsie game in and out of the pocket, and Broomstick, you just can't seem to hit him currently.
Very nice, though. I think it's all business, and that's the key. When you're fighting a 6-0 champion like Fadinator, the adjustments is where the keys come in, and obviously Broomstick knows he's got to be on his game all the way through. And coming out in the second round so far, Fadinator has been again flawless with his combinations, his pinpoint accuracy, he's catching Broomstick at the end, and the momentum for Broomstick looks like it's fading, Cyrus.
Yeah, he's having a lot of issues right now, a lot of these combinations starting to come together. He needs to continue to utilize that jab and get back to that lateral movement he was having in the first round, because
he catches him.
God.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, and look at the combinations to boot with it. There's still 3 minutes. Fadinator answers back with a 3-punch Humble, and he's continuing the pressure, now going into some grappling exchanges.
Grabbing zone, he's taken down into the side control, evidently knowing that Broomstick's kind of weak, does get the deny on the side control. Couple elbows followed by another deny. This is big for Fad. He can just control it now, hopefully, and this is got to be very patient in terms of Broom.
Yeah, that head health looked like it's blinking constantly, and Fadinator's head health's not the greatest either, but you'd rather be on top than the bottom, especially when the guy who's on top here is the champion, as Fadinator peppers down huge ground and pound onto Broomstick's noggin right there. He needs to get up off his feet, Cyrus, and he needs to get back to where he can be effective.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, even if the finish isn't secured by the champion, he's wearing at that block so that when it's back on the feet, dog, I mean, the damage is going to bleed through, but we're not going to need it. And still, the Northernman in, obviously, the champion Fadinator goes 7-0. Mixed up my words for a moment there, but it's only because of the action that's been put on display by each and every fight here this evening. I mean, it's been non-stop action, Humble. I mean, what do you make of tonight's card, brother, especially this main event? I think it's just been craziness. Everybody woke up feeling violence here today, and they brought that into the cage, fully putting it on display for us.
I have an opinion. I've already said it a couple of times, but Misha Tate and Captain Vieira have brought out this violence in everybody tonight, and that's going to be a crazy main event later on. I'm expecting flying knees. I'm expecting spinning back fist. Now I'm joking, but still, what a crazy card. I have 2 words: PrimeTime guarantee, and that's exactly what you got tonight with our PrimeTime card. All the competitors are getting better, the competition's getting more fierce, the PlayStation side's growing, and PrimeTime is in a state right now where the best competitors in the world are wanting to win, they're wanting to put the names on the line, and they're wanting to show exactly what they've got, and that's why you don't get these touch of gloves, because it's so important to them that they come out and perform tonight, and that's exactly what every single person on this card did.
Exactly right, my man, exactly right. PrimeTime guarantee holds true once again. It has been a pleasure calling these fights for you. A couple of moments of housekeeping before we call an end to the stream. That is going to be that, of course, tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. UK time. I think we're on Greenwich Mean Time right now, GMT. We are going to be putting out another card for the fight night. I believe with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Hummeldink, as the main event. Cannot wait for that crazy night of fights once again, starting out your week with style. I was meant to pull up a little bit of a graphic at this point, just as a thank you to one of our affiliate leagues, VFL, who has helped out a lot in recent weeks, assisting us getting the graphics and so on ready for the card. They are going to be having a card on the 25th of this month. That is this Thursday. Make sure to check out their channel. That's VFL Virtual Fight League. They are in the channel currently. We'll give them a little shout out in a moment. We are going to be pushing this love forward, my guys, and raiding somebody within the community. I believe Mr. Bruce Lee Rob is currently doing a fight companion for tonight's card, so make sure to join up that. enjoy the night of fights, and until the next one, much love, and stay safe, my guys.
Tune into on Monday. I'm gonna kill him. Let's go.